The Driving While Awesome podcast is recorded live to SD card at the Beeline Motor Club in Santa Cruz, California.
It's entertaining and it puts a smile on my face, and that's all that matters. Like, I don't care, you know, like, and so that's kind of the way I see it. It's like supposed to be fun.
You're all that matters is what you're saying.
The SUV represents everything that's wrong with America.
No, Walmart does, but yes, it's on
the same thing.
Yeah.
SUVs and
But if you
Walmart's
take your
synonymous.
SUV to Walmart,
That's what all the
Game
SUVs
over.
are meant for. You say
Yeah.
jalapenos or jalapenos?
Jalapeno.
Okay.
it says jalapeno.
I say both depending on how I'm feeling.
That's true, me too.
It's jalapeno, you idiot.
I got the secondhand report that SEMA is dead.
Welcome to Driving While Awesome, part of the Hagerty Podcast Network. My name is Warren.
Mart?
And I'm Clark.
Clark is joining us, and we have a Nick showing up as well, and no Lane. So Lane is out sick, but a Clark and a Nick equals a Lane.
Hopefully.
What would Nick and Clark? Nick Clark.
Narc?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Narc. Or Click. Click's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I like that.
It's not bad.
Click and clack.
It's very simple, concise. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
I feel like you haven't been on the podcast for a while. You've been on a few times, but in that time, a lot has happened.
The last podcast I was on was actually your other podcast. I don't know if we can talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Of course we can.
Oh, that's top secret shit, dude. Don't talk about
But where was that?
At the Wrigley.
It was at the Wrigley building.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was Driving While Awesome.
No, it was
Camping
with
While Awesome.
Camping
That's
While
right.
Awesome.
Oh,
Camping,
yeah.
with
You
all
were
the-
like on episode 3 or something.
Something like that.
Yes. Okay. I'm with you now. I'm with you. But since then, you've gone to Japan.
Yep.
You've been back.
Been back
And
and
back
forth a couple
again.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. We have a lot to cover there. Speaking of which, this has nothing to do with Japan, actually, but we're drinking Amaro,
Speaking of which,
which is an Italian bitter liqueur.
ooh, there's something happening here at the bottom of the cup, too.
Oh, yes.
I think we're sweating, or whatever we want to call that.
I think that's your ticking time bomb.
It is, yeah. You got to finish it before. So I got to say, Clark, the first sip was surprising. That's
Okay.
how I'll call it that. But my tongue is like acclimated. It's like that bitterness, that sharp bitterness that it hit me first. Like, I don't know if I have a coating. I don't know what's happening, but I like it.
Getting a little drunk, perhaps.
I like it.
What I like about this is that it has a pretty wide range of flavors. So
It definitely
it's
does.
definitely bitter is a strong strong flavor, but it has a nice rounded.
It's complex.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very. Is it fragrant? No, fragrant is smell. It's got a lot of
It's
herbal.
also that too.
Well, it's definitely herbal. And,
Very herbal.
and medicinal. And then it's got a little cherry-ish to it. Anyways, thank you for bringing that.
And this was served the other night to me at Mentone in Aptos, which
And I've been calling it Mentone this whole time, so...
so you're pronouncing the city it's named after correctly.
Oh, I see.
But they because of I guess the Italian style, they take the Italian pronunciation rather than the French pronunciation.
Oh yeah.
I just
Menthol.
figured it was Mentone, Tony, Tone.
Has done it again.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have to have 3 names, but I like it. I'm a fan, so
Yeah.
it's good. Well, Nick is going to join us shortly, but until then, we can answer some questions, and then once he jumps on, we can keep it rolling. We have quite a few, so it'll be a good time.
Rolling.
Be good times. A little chilly in here in the old Beeline.
It is,
tonight.
yeah. We should get like a kerosene heater or something. You know, it feels very industrial in here.
Was I talking to you guys about how things keep getting remade into like cool redesigns? Like, for example, the Instant Pot is just a pressure cooker and a slow cooker in one,
Right.
with like a digital display. Otherwise, it's very much just that. What about those heat dish things? They're heaters
yeah,
with
we
the
talked
nice,
about it.
you know, but really upgrading that idea and calling it something else, like a heat
Manta ray.
thank you, manta ray.
Manta ray. And it's I already have your logo. It's a little manta ray.
And it's like you cover it in ceramic somehow, make it like a little bit more chic and cool.
Yeah. Maybe even more dished, like really
More dished.
focused.
They're quiet. They could be even stylish, a little like mid-century if you wanted to.
Well, like you don't even know what that is. It could be on your mantle. You're like, is that a
Right.
work of art? Or
Yeah.
What am I looking at here?
Exactly. So, anyways, think about that, Clark.
We need a few of those.
You're
yeah.
in design, so all we have to do is cheap knockoff.
I'm picturing
redesign.
jade, maybe on the bass, like really psychedelic.
How about like a one of those salt crystal?
Oh yeah,
block?
and it lights up too.
Definitely not.
There you
Definitely
go,
not.
dude. Yeah,
Clark says no.
brings good
I don't
vibes. Amethyst, maybe.
Yes, amethyst. So powerful and magical.
Yeah.
which
By the
is
way,
nice.
this is now that we're on weird tangents. Did you guys hear about the Norwegian princess that left the royal family to and she married this like shaman?
I thought that was a cruise ship.
The Norwegian princess, I'm sure it is. And so the guy is like pretty like known to be like a total charlatan and fraud, and like he like claims that he has this like crazy voodoo mystical background, and like he can cure people by rearranging their electrons, he says. But anyways, you look him up, he's from Foster City, and like he's like it's like from up the road.
It's kind of embarrassing for our part of the world to be exporting that.
Yeah, and
That's
he's
very
like
magical, though.
like he was claiming that he has like this crazy like history, like his Haitian great grandmother that was a voodoo
never
goddess,
know.
but like
Chicken bones and
definitely not the
such.
case. Yeah, like everyone's like, oh, this his mom lived like in Palo Alto or something. It's like everything is
Right.
very out there. But yeah, dude, Norwegian princess. You'd think she could do a little better than that, but
It's like 3,000 person cruise ship with like a water slide. I
yeah,
think is what
maybe.
looking for.
Have you seen the there's shit? What's the actual Norwegian cruise line? I can't remember what it's called. They have one with a go-kart track on top.
Wow,
That's super rad.
those are unbelievable.
It's kind of like an Inception style. It's like, we're putting the land back on the water.
That's it.
that's
That's
right.
true. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
There was rumors that Larry Ellison bought a decommissioned Japanese aircraft carrier and then replicated a redwood forest and samurai village on it,
That's
I
dope.
really hope he did.
which is
That would be
so
the coolest
amazing.
I
thing.
want to go.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine like being in the forest and then it pulls up and you're like, you look out and it's just the, Bermuda. Or whatever.
Or it's like an M. Night Shyamalan. M. Light. This is not the full one. This
It's
is the
like
light.
kind of a junior.
Junior M.
Yeah.
Night Shyamalan. You're living your whole life in this forest, right? And you're in the 1600s. What is it? The Tokugawa era or whatever. And everybody's rocking their
And they
samurai
brought like
gear.
Japanese dirt for the bonsai trees.
Hell
But
yeah.
then Sergey Brin shows up in his airship, in his blimp, and like lands right in the middle of your redwood
pretty good.
forest. And you're like,
Yeah, the gods must be crazy.
Speaking of shamanic things, there was a headline, I didn't read the article, of course, that there's a national park that's urging people not to lick the psychedelic toads.
Why are they stripping the
Well,
psychedelic?
it's the ones that, you scrape their juice and then you dry it and you smoke it.
Okay.
That's is it DMT or
Something like that,
Something
yeah.
like that. Anyways, that's the one that Joe Rogan has tried and people are getting into now.
but they're just going out and licking them out in the forest.
Yeah,
rather
it's like
than
the
doing
ghetto,
process.
and
the
so
ghetto move.
And so, what does that do? Is it basically stripping the frog or the toads?
Well,
of
I'm sure
something?
the frogs don't love getting licked. Maybe
Yeah,
they do.
maybe they do.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
We haven't.
I imagine it's a
hold any of them.
defense mechanism, right?
Yeah, I think you're
Something
right.
like that?
They say that this stuff, it's like a insane trip.
Like
but,
peyote or something, kind of.
yeah, or ayahuasca. But the difference is that you go 0 to 100 instantly.
Oh,
So
okay.
the minute it hits you, it's your full.
Because
trip.
isn't shit? I can't remember if it's DMT, but it's one of those where it's literally like emulating dream state. So like it basically makes you dream while you're awake.
God,
So it's like you go into this dream state and you're imagining all this
Sounds
crazy shit.
kind of terrifying, kind of awesome. I don't know.
Does
Yeah.
the licking actually get you high, or is the licking
yeah,
just a
it
waste
sounds
of
like
time?
it.
No. It's only to pleasure the toad.
Yes, I mean that would
There's
be
no, there's no tripping going on.
It
It's
actually
just-
induces something in the glands that actually produces more, and then you harvest it.
This
That's
is
what we're
true.
saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just pictured the people like, oh, I'm just licking it, dude, and just nothing's happening, dude. And so you have to scrape it.
And you have to smoke it.
Well,
Yeah.
the smoking it is, that's how did they get to that point? I mean, obviously someone licked it and that was already a
Or
known thing.
I imagine hands, right? You holding a toad, then they went to eat
and they're
something.
like, whoa, this is great.
What's the last thing I did, man? I was
holding
fondling
that
a
toad.
It
toad.
was that
Yeah.
toad.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hold the toad, that's what happens.
Holding the toad. That's a euphemism for something.
Was this a question that somebody asked?
Yeah, there's
We're
one
working
other
on
thing
it.
I read today. My son brought home a book about spiders, and they were talking about spider silk, their web. That's
Yeah.
obviously insanely strong and light and the best thing ever. But it's hard to get, right? It's hard to harvest. And so now, this has probably been going on for a while, but they mix the genes of a spider into a goat, and then the milk has spider silk in it. They dry it, and then they can add chemicals and reproduce, or I guess get spider silk out of the milk.
I think this was happening in Oakland or Berkeley. There's a
Foster
company
City,
doing this. Maybe.
Yeah,
That's wild.
And they're saying that like if you have a spider silk rope an inch thick, it could stop a 747.
Holy shit, it's that strong.
It's that strong.
And a little bit stretchy.
It's a little bit stretchy.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it won't break right away. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. That's
Goat
quite the
milk.
workaround too. Like how to like
Transgenic
yeah.
goat milk.
I thought you were gonna say they spliced it into like a silkworm, and then that little thing, they've been
would
harvesting
make
that
sense.
shit forever. So like,
Yeah.
But this is a very roundabout, complicated way to do it.
That's crazy.
I wonder if somebody's had a lot of goat milk lying around. They're like, we need a use for this, for my herd of goats.
Why goats? Why not cows? Then they
Why not
produce
pigs? Huh? Pig milk?
Pig milk.
latte? Pig latte?
That's true.
Missed opportunity, guys. Come on. All right, back to reality here. These are questions from Instagram. And if you are a listener, you've never asked us a question on Instagram, you should. Every Tuesday-ish. It's usually when we record.
Tuesday-ish.
Reg Ton. By the way, there's a lot of good questions. Hey, we have a Nick of Beeline. He's in. He's here.
Is a Nick of Beeline eating?
Appropriate amount of clothing
there's
on.
There's no rush. No rush. We're getting to our first question. We've been talking about spider goat milk,
Big milk.
pig milk,
Yeah.
DMT,
Psychedelic
psychedelic toads. Super standard Tuesday.
Very car related.
Anyways, first question here. Reg Tanj says, which car brand or car group that is not heavily represented in the morning motors and coastal range rallies would you like to see more of? This is a very good question.
Oh, it's easy for me.
Okay.
More French cars.
I kind of agree. I was just going to say like Renault or Citroen, so I'll just go French
Yeah,
with
just keep
you.
it broad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call.
We don't get many. I mean, there's maybe one Citroen 2CV at best.
Yep.
We didn't get a lot of cars. Obviously they stopped selling them here in the 80s.
Yeah, Gen used to bring his 205 GTI. That's one car we've seen.
Yeah, Peugeots, but like there's no Renaults. There's very few French cars.
I'm trying to remember when the last time I saw one there was. If
Well, our
the
friend
2CV, I guess, showed up a
There's
few
that
times.
that
Tim
dark blue
Clark
one, right?
has that little 2CV. Yeah, it's standard issue, but yeah, that'd be cool. What else comes to mind? Maybe more.
A pre-war.
That's
Yeah.
We get a sprinkle of that. I feel like we have enough. I mean, like, it's
we
like
don't-
not my thing.
We don't get the good stuff. We get like the.
Yeah, it's not a blower Bentley or anything like
Yeah,
that.
right. No.
Yeah, I think we have plenty of Alphas, plenty of Porsches. Obviously, JDM stuff is abundant. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything. I guess we get a smattering of American stuff, right? But no, like real good
I would
Radwood
say it's
era
a
shit.
smattering.
Like I would like to see more 80s and 90s American stuff. Like that'd be rad.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to see some proper lowriders as well.
Yeah, we get some.
Yeah, I haven't been around with.
Yeah, there's
plenty.
a few.
Okay.
There's a few. Mini trucks as well. A couple.
I've seen a
couple
few
in
of
there.
those, yeah.
And that's all
Yeah.
we really need.
K cars, huh? More K cars?
That'd be great as usual, but
It's always the same. It's the cappuccinos. It's
it's the one cappuccino who lives in town.
Yep.
It's one of my trucks,
one of your trucks.
and that's usually about it.
There's that
Yeah.
one gray.
There's no
Is it an
AutoZens.
Acti? What? There's a
The
van.
van. It's
Yeah,
no,
it's
it's
a
a
it's a Honda.
No, it's not a Honda.
It's not Honda?
The Polizzi one that used to be.
Oh no, the gray one that's been here before.
Oh yeah, that's
It is a Honda.
that's a Honda. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That guy comes around.
Yeah. More
Yeah.
vans.
I should
Are you,
know all
have you-
these
are you
people's
coming
names.
around on vans yet?
Oh, you're
Well,
not a van guy.
I test drove. I actually
hates them.
Oh, they're so
He
cool.
Yells at people that drive vans.
I test drove one in Tokyo last month.
Oh, okay.
It was
Sure
not as advertised.
Really?
It was very misrepresented.
What could be the difference? I mean, they're the exact same thing.
Well, it was advertised as mint condition and it had a mint price.
Oh,
And
mint
then
price.
It was beat up in every way.
Oh, what the heck? That's
So.
very strange.
A little disappointing.
That's a bummer.
This was in Japan.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, one of my probably one of my favorite driving experiences ever was driving a Honda Vamos Turbo 4x4 going up into the mountains in Okayama to go skiing, and I got to drive in the snow, and
Very nice.
and it was like, I mean, not flying, but we were going past everything. Like people were pulling over to do chains and shit, and we just had good all seasons, and it's all wheel drive. And the contact patch is so narrow. They basically carve what a snow tire does.
The rally theory of like digging through the
Yeah,
snow,
dude,
right?
and it was so awesome. Like we were unstoppable, and we actually ended up like pulling over to help some people, and like it was so rad. And it was not very powerful, but it's turbocharged, so I didn't lose any power at elevation. And I mean, at the time too, it was a novelty, right hand drive, and being there and driving, it was such a cool experience.
The road's small enough; they don't have to go fast. I mean, going even a medium speed feels
Oh,
feels
for
pretty
sure.
quick.
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
JPod999 says, when are we doing another Dirt Rally 2.0 competition?
Oh, that's Lane's.
Considering I never did,
realm.
never did it. I don't even have an Xbox.
Yeah, it's a big commitment, dude.
Are you a video game guy?
Not really. So.
But if you live in Japan, you kind of have to be, right?
You'd be surprised.
They have a
actually.
quota, and they're like, "You haven't met your video game quota this month."
most of my friends there don't do gaming.
Oh,
Same.
okay.
Yeah. They were pretty anti, actually. Like their parents were super strict about games. Like a lot of my Japanese friends.
Probably because they were so exposed early on in the
Well,
video
it
game
depends where you live,
world.
right? Like it's like a.
What if you're
yeah.
like two Italian plumbers that live in the city and you have to do some
and
work
in Japan and you're around big pipes,
and like turtle shells and stuff?
then you're forced into it.
Okay. No, we already answered a Red Tanj question. Swedish Cadillac. You're a character in a movie. You've just been fired, gotten divorced, lost all your worldly possessions, been kicked out of your house. You have $100,000 cash to purchase a car and fund a road trip of a lifetime. What are you buying? In what direction or continent do you travel? Do you sleep in hotels, tent, back of your car? Question mark.
Wow.
Enjoy.
That's a pretty good.
By the way,
question.
enjoy at the end of that. Your life is upside down.
No kicking the nuts there at the end or anything, or
No, just enjoy.
Okay.
Just enjoy it. Take it easy, you know?
I feel like you guys are into your overlanding expedition vehicles.
I would do an overlanding, but I do a different style. I would, off the top of my head, I would get one of the Mahindra Jeep, I guess made under license, or maybe not.
The
made
little
under
tiny
license.
ones?
The tiny ones.
Why? Why would you not just get a Jeep?
Because I do it in India.
Oh,
You
interesting.
want to go to India?
I would go to India
because you want your
with
life
my
to be
100 grand.
worse than it was here.
I think it would be better for this adventure. And I would drive. I would start
Tibet style?
I would start perhaps in Jaipur, and I would drive sort of north,
Himalayas.
east, and then sort
Stands.
of and then down the down the east side, maybe around the bottom. And I think that would be 100 grand. You could buy the car,
dude.
and you could do the whole adventure.
You could buy a mansion there and everything.
It'd be a great adventure.
That's
like
an
that.
interesting one. Yeah.
I'm struggling with this because I want to pick something unique and interesting, but also I want to get through my road trip. But this is a movie, or you're a character in a movie. So
I'd break down a lot, which would be good for the movie.
yeah, I think I'm going like $50,000-ish Vanagon, and I don't know exactly what motor, but something dialed. Basically adventure mobile, do it all. Got some style, got some grace.
Straight Grace even. Yeah.
Where would you go? What continent?
I feel like you're a Yellowknife kind of Northwest Territories kind of guy.
Yellowknife. I've always wanted to do a road trip in Mexico, even though everyone tells me that I'll get killed immediately. So I'm going to do that.
and people are doing it right now.
I'm doing, all through Mexico.
And starting one side anywhere, north, south.
I just want to do the whole thing.
All of it.
Yeah,
All the
of it.
Mexicos.
I want to do all the Mexicos. Any colonial city or town. So, we'll do San Miguel de Allende, Mexico City, get a little Michoacan action, maybe some Oaxaca,
Okay. You're going
etc.
further south.
Further south, the better. So, yeah, that's where I'm going. Art,
Interesting.
you're going to go with a K van?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vamos
Japan?
Turbo in Japan on
mountains.
very well paved roads, like total like in civilization.
Sapporo.
Yeah.
Ski trip.
Lots of curry. I'm gonna go on a curry trip. I'm gonna start from the bottom, go to the north, and
Okay.
talk about the different. It's a gastronomical adventure. That's what I'm gonna
Okay.
go on, and I'm gonna visit. I've done those before. I've done my pilgrimage to Hakata for ramen,
Okay.
and I had Fukuoka ramen from all the different places. And I drove there, and I also have done the udon stuff in Hamamatsu, I think it was.
Is ramen
Shizuoka?
as salty in Japan as it is here? I don't
Just
remember.
all different types.
Every type, yeah.
Yeah,
They
but
really, they really go heavy salt around here.
yeah, but no, I'm gonna go with a high ace.
Hi, Ace. Oh, interesting.
I really like high aces,
Yeah, you can't beat that.
and nice little bed set up in the back.
I mean, the only way you could beat that is with a Vanagon, but it's
Except,
going to be a Hobie Cat edition sunroof synchro.
but I'll do
Pretty
high
fancy.
ace,
Throw that out
and
there.
I'm gonna go, and I want to do like because I've traveled all over Japan, but there's a lot of places I still haven't been. I haven't been to Hokkaido, and I haven't been to the Ryukyu Islands, so to like fucking Okinawa and all that. So like start down there, ferry my ass on up and do like the little frog. What is it? Frogger, leapfrogging my way up until I get to Kyushu, and then do all of it and backcountry stuff.
Well, so our friend Rich Chen sent the other day a link to a woman who has done I think 3-month journey in her van, her K van of some kind. Not even a van, might have been a car. She did the whole thing for 3 million yen, which is about $22,000 for 3 months, eating out every meal. And she stayed in the car, slept in the car, used a public bath, and sort of did the journey described.
Nice.
Doesn't get much better.
I
than that.
definitely
Eat out
wanna do
every
food.
meal. Go to all these different cool places. Now the
trying to
question also
see,
says, do you sleep in hotels, tent, or back of car?
I was picturing back of car. And
Me too.
I want to see what a Nissan
Obviously you
Stagea
do maybe
costs.
like once a week or every 2 weeks. You do like a little hotel stay, maybe.
I was thinking I would do a combination of hotel and tent.
Oh, tent.
The Jeep's a little small for sleeping in.
Yeah, because you're also in India, so maybe a tiger would get you in the tent.
Maybe a rooftop tent? Was that just too cliche these days?
No, that's right up your alley.
I guess so.
And we have Nick of Beeline,
Gentlemen,
Got some
motor
cups
car.
up on the top of the
I
refrigerator.
saw.
That's Amaro.
we're drinking
and
Amaro?
it has a lot to do with medieval times. So just so you know,
Okay.
it's kind of a medieval times situation.
Is this
we've got going on.
Clark?
I brought this. Yeah, this is I had some at the Mentone the other night and
Yeah.
went out and got a bottle.
I kind of want to change my car. Same trip.
He's going M5 wagon.
Nissan Stagea
Thank you, sir.
wagon. So it's basically a Nissan Skyline underneath.
Oh, right.
With the Atessa all-wheel drive, because I want to tackle some fun roads to drive too. And I've, and it's, I fold down the rear seats, big fucking wagon, drives awesome,
BFW.
big fucking wagon,
Yep.
yeah, BFW, and
Classic.
sounds
Get that
cool.
right up next to your mouth.
And
there.
get me some,
We didn't get to adjust
get
it.
me some good old fun driving dynamics as well, because I feel like I'm going to miss out on that, and I want to enjoy some of those roads at speed, and then but also be able to cruise. And if I go into the winter, let's say I have good all seasons, good all wheel drive.
That has all-wheel drive.
Yep,
Sick.
yep.
And are you going to stay off the highway? Are you going to do local
All of
roads
it.
only, or will you do expressway?
I was thinking local roads only, originally, and
Locals
so
only.
yeah, but maybe some turnpike or some paid. What do you call it? Like the Hokkaido and
Oh, yeah,
I'm
the
sorry, the
Skylines.
Hokkaido and all that shit. The Skylines, yeah.
Any Kaido will do.
All the Kaidos, we'll take all.
Did you hear the question, and do you want to answer it?
We'll just move on to the next one.
Moving right on.
Do me one favor. Scooch a little closer to Clark. I just want to make sure you're in frame.
Okay.
From that camera.
By the way, this is working lovely.
There you go.
I bumped up your mic, the sensitivity.
Hey.
You sound fantastic.
I think I sound fantastic
Dude,
generally.
this is the way to
but
do it.
Thank you.
You need
also
a,
for that.
You need a 10%.
Just need a little bit of a boost. Yeah.
10%
One
boost.
notch up.
Yeah.
It's got art on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's drive time. We're
Yep.
getting into the morning rush hour. All right, Bobby Reed with the cars. Nope. The Tybo says, "What cars have you owned that found the best balance of driver engagement and NVH? Did you ruin that balance later by modifying them?" I can start. I didn't own it, but my wife had a 2006 Mini Cooper S, and I felt like that was a very well built car. It wasn't like a luxury car by any means, but it was pretty well insulated, well buttoned together. That's the last year, that first redesign, the rebirth. And it was very fun to drive. It was engaging, 6-speed manual, supercharged 4-cylinder. Kind of felt like a BMW, but also felt British in a good way. So that's the one that comes to mind. But
Did you ruin it though?
no modifications other than we replaced the run flats with like real performance tires that were much more compliant. The run flats were atrocious.
They're horrible. The sidewalls are terrible.
I have a great one actually for this because I had the car, it worked very well, and then I ruined it, and then I had to unruin it. I had a Z4M Coupe E86.
Dude, that's so funny.
S54 car. Bought it pretty stock. Actually had 19s on it, so I improved it by putting 18s and more sidewall on it. But then I was pretty young and couldn't leave the thing alone, so I, at one point, lopped the mufflers off and just did a full muffler delete. And then when I had to do motor mounts, and so I was like, well, I'll get these sporty, AKG mounts, and the combination of the S54 with like just resonators and the way too hard poly mounts was just rattly and heinously loud, and I think it lasted a couple months. I had effectively ruined the car, and then I went back to the stock bits, and it was great.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, I'm laughing because I was going to say my Z3M Coupe, But the more I thought about it, it's much more refined than my 993 was. And my 993, I feel that was like the perfect balance between like a very, very solid, like no squeak, like very tight, well put together car, amazing steering feel, very analog feeling brakes, that your classic air cooled 911 driving dynamics, but a little more insulated, and a little quieter and a little bit more refined, compared to an earlier G-body or long hood car.
And then you made it really loud, as I understand it.
And then I ruined it too. So
Slammed the shit out of it.
Seats in it.
the suspension was awesome. I actually had RS spec suspension, and that rode great. And I didn't scrape anywhere, believe it or not. Because 911s are magical like that because they're really flat and
It
like
wasn't
they're
too
underneath.
harsh over bumps.
It wasn't harsh. It was awesome. But I put Fab Speed Super Cups, which are straight pipes, literally muffler deletes.
Yeah, they are.
And it sounded amazing, but it was extremely loud. Yeah, it was very, very loud. So loud that the guy that I sold it to, who still comes on our rallies, when he comes on our rallies, he wears earplugs. But he loves the way it sounds.
Oh, so he still has the exhaust in the car.
He still has the exhaust, refuses to change it, but he has to wear earplugs, and then it's fine.
Super Cups are like always like on sale secondhand on Renlist. It's like the easiest muffler to find
everyone's
because
just like, I've made a horrible
buy them, you
mistake.
put them on, you do
Month or
two
two,
drives. I put a set on that car before blowing it up, and one drive was enough. I'm good.
Yeah, it's very, very
It's
good
too
when you're
loud.
hauling ass, though. And
Yeah, they
and all
sound
that.
great like
Yeah.
at full throttle,
Yeah,
but
full chat.
super droney. I wasn't gonna go there.
No,
I'll let you.
Come
How
on,
about you, Clark?
UKDM.
Anything
I'll let you.
come to mind?
Yeah, I guess for me it's my S2000, which is in the parking lot, but with the factory hardtop, which really brings the noise level down quite a bit, has a much bigger rear window, and sort of creates a more spacious and quiet feeling passenger compartment.
Yeah.
So you get the sort of the fun S2000 experience, but it's actually a pretty different feeling driving with the hardtop versus the soft top.
Does it stiffen it at all? Can you notice anything?
You can sort of hear the creak of the top moving around.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole thing
From
is
a
pretty
rigidity
flexy.
standpoint,
Does
yeah,
look
probably
good.
not.
Are those rare? The hardtops?
They're not impossible to find, but they are not
I
super
think they're pretty.
common.
I think they're pretty pricey.
Do they still get stolen a lot?
I hope not. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
I always.
I mean,
put
yours
mine
is
in the
mostly
garage.
stored, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I rarely leave it out.
Although, didn't you
yeah.
like have some like muffler tip theft?
Yeah, the little chrome like garnishes on the tip.
Is it an NB? I'm sorry, the second gen.
Yeah, second
Yeah.
gen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a common thing. They just take them and then put them on the earlier ones.
Yeah. I had it parked overnight. I left it when I was.
Where was it? Was it here?
It was actually. I forget what it's where Skyline and 17 at the crest meet.
okay.
And there's a little pull-off area.
Yeah.
I was living up in the mountains at the time, and I was going out of town for a couple days, maybe to SEMA or something. And I left the car there and carpooled down to the airport with a friend for 2 nights. So it was kind of in the woods, like in this.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, over
But-
by whatever that market's called in that direction.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
But nobody took the seats, which was a big plus.
The seats
they just took the
and,
little
and you
tips.
had the hardtop on?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I specifically took the top
Dude,
off
yeah,
for
hard
leaving
tops.
it there.
So on NA Miatas in particular, those hard tops get stolen a ton, like constantly. And so even back in the day, like my last Miata was probably 10 years ago, I had top locks. And so there's a guy here in Palo Alto that made them, and he devised a solution that basically plugs into the stock like hardtop like latch area on the sides, and it requires like this super special kind of key. It's still defeatable, but you have to drill it, and it's like a lot of noise and sparks and all that.
Yeah.
But
It's just a deterrent.
it's a deterrent, yeah. So I never got my hardtop stolen, but I had that shit on it. But I heard a lot of people like have their cars broken into, and then they attempted to break through that, and they gave up. So the lock did work, you know. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, these days I rarely leave it outdoors overnight. I mean, almost. I haven't left it out overnight for years now. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
It's fun.
I saw it roll out.
Isn't it?
I saw it roll out the other
exciting.
day, and it looked like maybe it got a wash, and then it just
got-
rained for.
It got a rain.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
it got.
There you go. There you
It
go.
was filthy, and then it rained.
That was the first wash before
Yeah.
man wash cars. Art, what do you have any comments about your NSX?
Any
This-
comments?
For this question, you took a stock NSX and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
effectively slammed it
Yeah.
on big wheels.
Yep, I did do that. There's some ruining. Yeah,
It's a slight ruinage.
Yeah, it looked very nice.
It looked statically. It was.
It looked
fantastic.
really,
And
really
it
nice.
rode well on smooth roads. There wasn't
Yeah.
a problem there. But getting into like
Clearance is an issue.
was a
Yeah,
big
That was
issue.
the thing because like NSXs in general, like NAs, or even actually all of them because they're the same, same fucking overhang. But I had an early one, and yeah, dude, like even stock, you run into shit like going up driveways, and
I scrape mine all the time.
it's so annoying. And I lowered it quite a bit. I basically effectively eliminated all like fender gap, and it looks so sexy, but it was not great for driving fast on bumpy roads.
It was great on smooth roads.
Yeah,
So,
but also I thought like from a analog / insulated kind of question, it also fits the bill, right? It definitely is very, very comfortable. It's very quiet. Ergonomically, it's super nice, and but it has like this Jekyll and Hyde personality where NSXs, I think they're very misunderstood, like from a driving standpoint, like because they don't have a lot of torque down low, and like around town they're like whatever, they're very sedate, but like if you drive them at the limit, like they actually wake up and are super fun. They're very well balanced.
amazing.
Yeah, all that. Gearing is kind of weak, but they're nice cars.
Bobby Reed with the cars says, besides sauce and cheese, what is the optimal number of toppings for a pizza? And what is your favorite combination of these toppings?
Ooh, there's a pun there.
It ranges widely.
Favorite
you know,
combination is a pun. Just want to throw that out there.
3 of the wrong toppings could be way too many toppings,
is
you
that
know?
fun?
But they could
Because
be.
combo is a type of pizza. Favorite combination. That's a type of pizza.
Does anybody just order the combo? It's got to be a veggie combo or a meat combo or something, right?
No, but I hear
By
what you're
default,
saying.
you got some sausage on there. You have to order
a bell
veggie
pepper?
to specify.
That's true.
I think you're
All right.
Anyways,
It's funny. I go back and forth. Sometimes I love like the Big Serve by Pizza My Heart is like the best.
It's great, and there's like
ton of
there's
them.
like 7 toppings on there. Yeah.
yeah,
whole
yeah.
garlic cloves
That's
Yeah.
key. Garlic is so good on pizza.
and all that
That's
stuff.
good.
But I'm really
Yeah.
a pepperoni mushroom guy. I'm a
Are you?
pretty- That's like, and I can go black olives too, but pepperoni mushroom is my classic. That's my Snickers of pizza.
I like
pizza,
I like
but it's not the
pepperoni
best
mushroom.
pizza.
I like mushroom. My problem with mushroom is that it doesn't reheat well. The second day, the mushrooms are kind of like
now you're going
slimy.
for
Problem, yeah.
I order a giant pizza and then I eat it the next day.
But by the way, if you're having a pizza contest, no one's going, what does this taste like reheated?
They might.
There might be
no.
what about a cold pizza contest? There might be a thing.
mushroom-
An
I like
escachata?
It's also riscotto because if they're a little bit too moist and
Yep.
it makes the pizza
Yep.
soggy, it's a problem.
Or
You have to have good
it
mushrooms.
messes up the moisture content of the cheese and it becomes sort of
Yeah.
a
Okay, well,
slurry.
That's
All
true.
right, well,
that's why
I
olives
get-
is superior because you
Olives
get,
are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the pepperoni, olive, maybe jalapenos for the cheeky third.
Nice.
Ooh.
dude.
Cheeky third.
Gangster.
By the way, that's a very 2010 answer.
What makes it 2010? Come on.
Who's putting jalapenos on pizza prior to 2010?
All of it. It's wait.
I don't know. I guess classically the jalapeno maybe was
Oh,
excluded, but it
is that in
shouldn't be.
Naples? Were they doing
Shouldn't be.
jalapenos? Is that where I missed it?
No, I'm saying like traditionally no jalapenos, but I think it's a welcome addition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say
Yeah.
jalapenos or jalapenos?
Jalapeno.
Okay.
It says jalapeno.
I say both depending on how I'm feeling.
That's true. Me too.
It's jalapeno, you idiot.
What's the optimal number?
Well-
First start there. I don't need to know what toppings.
Well, 2 is an optimal number, I think. 2 is an optimal number because there's all different combinations. They all can be good.
Are we
It
counting
gets-
cheese?
It gets busy. No.
cheese and sauce
No,
eliminated.
Yeah, like if we're trying to go just straight up, like I think it's when you start adding more ingredients, it becomes something else, and it's just kind of like feed me a lot of shit, and
By the way,
I want to eat a lot of
The
food.
fact that he says, aside from sauce and cheese, he knows the podcast.
He knows
that.
he knows
That's
the-
where you're
oh,
gonna
dude,
go.
that's where we're going.
yeah,
If Lane was here, he'd go, well, pizza has some cheese. And
yeah, for sure. And there is a no cheese pizza. There's also a thing. I like me, and it also depends on the style. Like I think mushroom. I'm a mushroom
we
and
can't have a
pepperoni
floppy
guy.
dog with a bunch of stuff on it.
But I'm a mushroom and pepperoni guy for sure in general. But like if we're gonna go like
guy right there.
Napolitana, like a really thin, like wood fired one, like I almost just want it.
Like a Santa Cruz style.
like
We're not even going to mention Margarita.
I was just about to go there. We're gonna go to margarita because that's like it's about the sauce, it's about the cheese, it's about the dough, and it's about the basil and the tomato, and like that's again two ingredients. So that I go with that. But if it's like New York style big floppy thing, give me pizza or give me pepperoni and mushroom.
I think that's
How's
a
that?
fair analysis.
Okay.
But I mean, because like the New York style is its own whole thing, and so I
Yeah,
feel like maybe
yeah.
just even just pepperoni if it's the true
Right,
New York
right,
style.
right.
Yeah,
Because
That's hard to argue with.
right. Yeah, I think what about how do you guys feel about like Sicilian thick style? Like, are you getting busy with
It
that?
has to be like
So
really good.
delicious.
It has to be the best
Yeah, I agree.
Sicilian
I agree. It has to
in
be so
It's rarely the
crunchy.
best.
the area.
It has to be
You know,
so crunchy.
like,
that, like, buttery
7-8 times out
bottom
of 10,
crust.
it's just not. It's not going to be good.
Are you guys in on Chicago style?
Definitely not.
Yeah, I'm down with some of it. It's just
tough,
it's.
man.
I don't even call it.
It's kind of in the
pizza.
same
It's
category
like
as the Sicilian. It's just more
Like a
extreme.
casserole, right?
I just want some
Right.
soup.
But,
Yeah, like
yeah.
a soupy thing.
It's just
I do have to.
saucy mess.
Local. This is a local.
It's good. I'll
It's,
eat the hell
it's
out
not
of
hyper local. It's regional thing, but you guys would know. Escape from New York in San Francisco. They have the potato, pesto, and garlic one.
Oh, it's delicious.
That's so fucking good. Have you
Does
guys had
sound
that?
good. I have not, but it sounds
not from
amazing.
that particular place, but I have had that
It is
combination.
so good.
It's
That's also two, right? We got potato and garlic, which you would not anticipate being.
I mean, I guess we're subbing the pesto for your traditional
not red
sauce.
sauce.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
it's a sauce.
so
It is a
good.
sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good times. Good times.
But yeah, two is the consensus. I think.
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But it does depend on the type. If it's a thick boy, you can add maybe a third or even a
And if
fourth.
it's a well-crafted pizza ensemble, you could go 5, 7. The sky's the limit
Ensemble.
as far as I'm concerned. Like Pizza My Heart is a number of delicious pizzas with
yes,
well
yes.
north of 5
absolutely.
toppings.
Yeah, the Watsonville is amazing.
and like
Are-
an extra large is only like $84.
It is
you guys-
legitimately like pizza for
It's
the family.
crazy
It's
how
like
expensive
$75.
Unbelievable.
It's weird how expensive pizza is. But yeah, I was gonna ask, how are you guys on pineapple on pizza?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm
good
fine.
with it.
I'm
And
cool
I
with
like
it.
pineapple jalapeno.
That's a very good.
Oh,
combination.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never done that.
That sounds good. I'm actually
Might have to.
I'm not a ham and pineapple guy. I'm a
Yeah.
pepperoni and pineapple guy.
that is the
Salty
way.
and sweet,
Yep.
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll eat a Hawaiian, but I won't order it. Does that make sense?
If it's there, you'll have it.
Toasted Boot says track daily weekend.
Yes.
So nothing. I like that nothing is getting killed. I like that.
No kills.
Yeah.
Track daily weekend. 86 LeBaron convertible.
Oh gosh.
79 LeBaron coupe.
Jesus, they're all
or a
LeBarons?
TC by Maserati.
Son of a bitch.
This is so important to me. My first car was a 79 coupe with God tier slant 6. Is that God tier? I don't know what that means, but a slant
It means
6.
it's the best.
Very good.
The top tier.
The tier.
God tier. Well, that's what
The
kids
tier,
79
the
coupe.
tier which only
No
God
gas.
occupies. Yeah.
79
Okay.
LeBaron coupe. I mean, the TC
Dang.
is the track car by Maserati.
Well, I wish I knew more about the suspension because it might be.
Jesus, it
might-
doesn't
well,
matter.
It might be
all.
miserable.
It's
compared
all
to-
miserable. They're all the
Wait.
worst you can imagine.
Are they all
know.
three? All three are roadsters.
No.
Convertible?
One's a convertible.
79's a coupe.
Oh, okay.
That's the weekender. The weekender is the convertible.
The 86 LeBaron convertible is the weekend.
Definitely the weekend car.
The daily is the 79 coupe.
What does that even look like?
Oh
I don't
wait,
know
dude,
what a
I'm
79 is.
tracking the coupe.
And what are we supposed to be doing with this?
I need that
this?
rigidity.
up
It says
to you.
track daily weekend.
79.
You're just picking each of those
LeBaron.
cars to be your track car, your daily, or your
You're
weekend.
you've got a
I see, I
Chrysler
see.
Whoa.
fleet.
I have never seen a 79 Chrysler LeBaron.
Let's see.
These don't exist here. Like this is because the
Oh, yeah.
LeBaron that we know is like the
Let's see. Oh,
Yeah.
That's the track car.
No.
this is the daily.
that's the track car.
It's super
That's the
chill, man.
daily.
Look out. That's cushion.
Because he didn't specify if we were road racing or we were going to the drag strip. I'm putting like a giant turbo on that thing. We're going
Weekend
the
is
strip.
86 LeBaron convertible.
true.
We all know what that looks like. Art and Lane basically spent a day in LA and
Yeah,
won.
those are
It's, like,
rad.
the best thing ever. 79 LeBaron coupe, which is like a full size American car, is your daily. And then the TC by Maserati, which has the little
That's cool. It's kind of like
porthole hard top.
it looks like that.
I think with some flares and whatnot.
that's the weekender.
You could really do something with that.
That's like a
the track car.
Riata, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the track car for sure. So here, let me read this description to you guys. Okay, 1979 Chrysler LeBaron Medallion Edition. It's sold, by the way. Description: remarkable 1979 Chrysler LeBaron Medallion. 37,000 actual miles.
Highway
powered
miles.
by a
Original.
318 CI V8,
Easy miles.
cubic inch V8. Paired with automatic
V8.
transmission, amazing red exterior. So I don't know if that's the color because it's in cap. It's A is capitalized, R is capitalized, and amazing red. So I don't know if that's the actual name of the color.
Oh,
or
I see.
it's red. Rally wheels,
Plum crazy.
sold anew at Kuntz Motors, in
good old Kuntz.
Philadelphia. So and then my favorite part of this whole
Attaboy,
thing,
Philly.
amazing time capsule, ready to enjoy. Call Monica.
I wish you would call her right now.
Let's call.
Oh, it already sold.
Is she representing the car for Chandler?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it.
amazing red exterior.
Eamon Shaw says, I recently purchased an original catalog for my 2000 E46 323i
Interesting.
sedan that includes color samples and accessories BMW offered in 2000. What automotive memorabilia would you like to find to go with your current vehicles? That's a very good question.
That is
Great question. I have all of the books for the E36 M3, and that's really fun because there's everything from apparel in there to wheel choices, materials, all that shit. That's cool. But I don't have that for my Skyline, and that would be super cool. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind. I know it's exactly what he has, but
Yeah, it's funny because this is accessories,
Yeah.
or memorabilia. He says.
I have the key. I also have the stainless key or whatever.
Quit bragging, Jesus Christ.
That's the one thing I would want, and I have it.
I just got a new Actu truck from '89 with a tan interior, and I'm looking for the power window option that you can bolt on instead of the window rollers in tan.
Bolt on.
You bolt onto the window rollers.
You take off the window roller,
like
and
it's a motor in the
sucker on.
switch.
It's like a little box. It's like a little blister that you just
Yeah.
like bolt on over. And it
That's
has-
cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
In period, they offered in '95, you could get I think it was a tandem bicycle from the BMW catalog. I
That's
want that. I want that. And I hope that it would be with like the Hurricane or like confetti style
Oh, hell yeah.
livery.
Does it come with a rack to put it on the car?
I hope not. Probably. It probably does come with some crazy
Dude,
rack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering. Like, could you get a Dakar yellow one and transport it with your BMW
Like a sweet roof rack.
BMW lifestyle
nice.
rack?
Dude,
Yeah.
I'd like to find an NOS M96 crate engine.
accessory.
Yeah.
Accessory. I like it. Dude, I want to change my answer because now that we're talking, like I'm thinking more accessories than ephemera. I want the period correct, like checkered floor mats. They were like kind of like the Coco style, but they're not black and white.
Right.
They're like gray on gray.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it kind of looks like, when you do the vacuum on the
Yeah.
detailing.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
looks like that. And they're so cool. They're really thick pile and they're very, very expensive. They're like $1,500 now. Wow. So like, I wish I had that. That came with my car because spending that on a set of floor mats is kind of silly, but
Yep.
they're really cool looking.
Those are hard to find nowadays.
Very, yeah.
Floor mats obviously weren't cherished. They got beat up, and
Yeah.
finding new old stock floor mats is really hard to find.
Tricky. For
Dia Dobro says, track daily scrap.
Oh, another one. Here's the scrap.
Plymouth Prowler, Chevy SSR, are we familiar?
Oh, I'm a fan.
And last generation Ford Thunderbird.
Art does like small trucks.
So Ford Thunderbird, that's a rear wheel drive car, I
But-
believe.
Uh,
2-seat.
Shit, I don't know.
I can't say for
I
sure.
actually like
I think it
rear
is.
drive.
I think it's based on the Crown Vic chassis.
I think so
it
too.
might
and
be,
I kind
yeah.
of like the way they look.
I was
in a
driving behind one in
weird
upstate
way.
New York a few years ago, and it was like teal, and it had an old person driving it, and it looked amazing.
Dude,
Yeah,
they're pretty
that's-
cool, man.
that's
Kind of cool, and you could see with
yeah.
just
They
a
did
little-
some really like retro, like unironically retro colors too, like the teal and like
Yeah.
I think they had like a pale yellow.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
yes,
It's absolutely rear-wheel drive, and it shares the platform with two different makes.
Lincoln Mark 8
Close.
and a Ford Mustang.
Is it an aluminum motor?
I don't know. I'm looking at the related chassis.
Is it Crown Vic?
Give me
though?
platform. It's not Crown Vic. You got Lincoln, right? But it's not a Mark 8 or whatever you said. And there's another Mark. That's a hint.
Mark.
Plymouth Prowler.
Mark. No,
No.
MARQUE.
but
That's a big hint.
PT Cruiser.
Mercury.
that Mercury is what I was meaning. Sorry, not Plymouth Prowler. I don't know.
No, MARQUE.
Mercury something.
That's British. It's
Oh, yeah,
it
it could
shares
be
with a
a-
Jaguar, Jaguar XF, and the S-Type, and Lincoln LS.
Lincoln
Oh,
LS.
whoa! It's on the S-type chassis.
Yeah.
So
Very exotic.
it
It's straight
perhaps
up, dude,
does have an aluminum V8.
It has the Jaguar AJ35 V8.
Yeah, there you go.
Aluminum.
Yeah.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
Dude, I kind of want one now.
Okay, so
I think what's the nicest one?
track
in the
daily
world
scrap.
right now?
So,
Like 15,
first of all, they're all
20?
2-seaters.
Maybe.
Let me see. I'll find
I
out.
feel like there's enough. Like old folks who want one of these that maybe they're in the teens.
Oh man, this is a tough question because the Prowler, I love the idea of it, but it's a V6 automatic.
It's a
But it
struggle.
looks so cool.
It looks so cool, and I think if you were going to track that, it could be interesting.
Ooh, I think it would probably fall apart.
I think so too. I think it would be
Interesting
It's the
pretty
cruiser.
horrible.
in the
No,
way
there's
that
no
ending up in the
cruiser.
tire wall is
wait,
interesting.
track daily scrap.
Oh, daily scrap. So okay, so which
Well,
one
you
we-
get the cruise your
truck,
daily.
The SSR truck.
Oh, I'm definitely dailying the SSR truck, scrapping the Prowler, and tracking.
Scrapping the Prowler.
Fuck yeah,
I would track the Ford.
The
I'm a big
Har.
SSR fan. I
Does
really
the
like
Prowler
That would
have
be the smartest move, but you could get a manual V8 SSR.
Yes, you can.
but I don't particularly like that era of trucks.
They're so cool. I think that I love that they're like
you call it an era
they're-
of trucks. It's like
It's a highly
it's the
useless
weirdest
vehicle.
I've literally
It's Camaro based,
You know,
right?
SSR manual LS, like that's rear wheel drive. So the thing with SSR
That's
for
pretty
me,
cool.
I really like that they're so cartoony. It's like it looks like a
like that.
Yeah, it's like it's
from
something
the
that-
movie Cars.
Yes,
Yeah.
or it's like a Pixar truck, and the fact that they made it is so cool to me.
I mean, I
think
won't
it's
argue
so
with
cool.
that. The
I mean,
fact
this
that
is
they
a very
made it.
hard challenge because all the cars are actually pretty cool and pretty well matched.
and also very flawed.
They've been very
yeah,
fun, for
not
sure,
really.
for sure.
Not,
Like,
none of them are suited to
They're
track
all-
use.
So manual transmission wise, I think your only option is the SSR. And does that, in the spirit of the question, if you're going to track
Shit,
something,
You're right,
it
Probably have
needs to
to
be
go
manual,
SSR.
right?
Yeah.
and it's a Camaro based kind of thing, as you said, right? It's
Yeah.
got the that's
and
a
how
good call, dude.
horrible is the Ford automatic going to be? The Thunderbird.
You're right.
It's going to be
Ooh.
horrendous.
I
Very
mean,
bad.
technically the truck should be the track car, but
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
but
then you're
you're going
scrapping.
Prowler. No way, dude! With those gigantic rear tires and tiny skinny fronts.
no, I wouldn't track that. I would track the Ford.
You track the Ford.
Tracking
Yeah, I
the-
would put a different transmission in.
You're gonna. I mean,
because it shares everything with the platform. You can do a little swapping.
Yeah, if you're
I
able
think
to do
actually
that,
Lincoln LSs are supposed to handle really well, right?
yeah,
well.
there might have
That's what
been
they say.
there might have been
They-
a manual
they say.
S type
Or what?
in Europe. There's a
There's
possibility.
got to be some manual that will fit
Jack
in
did
there.
a
I'm sure
box
there is,
for it,
but
yeah.
Too much
they didn't
trouble.
offer it here in a manual.
They're way
So-
more valuable than I thought.
But
By
what
the way,
if
these
we're
Ford
doing
Thunderbirds.
Clark-
this whole thing in Europe?
Clark likes to loophole these questions
Everyone
like
likes
I
to
do.
loophole these questions.
Where we go, oh, we'll just
So-
put a gearbox in it.
Well, for sure.
We changed
Ali
it.
would be like, well, we just do electric swap, and then Okay, so T-Bird. Man, this is tough.
No, I have my answers. I'm tracking the
in this-
SSR. I'm dailing the Ford, and I'm tossing the Plymouth Prowler.
I mean, that's the smart man move for sure.
That's
I hate to
smart.
say it. I think I can't be seen driving around a Plymouth Prowler
Really?
daily.
That's
daily.
embarrassing.
Well,
You're the guy.
the real question is, does it have the accessory trailer?
And the other question
Yes,
is,
of course
is
it does.
that amazing purple color?
and that's where you
Yes,
keep all your
plum
toupees.
crazy.
Yes, it needs to be
Flames
that
or no?
color.
Keep all
No
your
flames,
toupees
no
in the
flames.
trailer in a nice
not a race car.
display. A toupee display.
I'm going to use the trailer to go back and forth to the hardware store.
Nice.
What, you have an SSR?
It's fully tracked out. It's got a cage. It's got the
Well,
trophy
if we're
truck
putting the
bars
cage in
through
it,
the
then
through
I
the
can put a
truck.
transmission into the Ford.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, this is too hard to answer tonight. I don't know if we can do
Great
it.
question though.
If Ford Thunderbirds are less than $10,000,
They're
we
not.
all have to go buy one.
They're expensive, dude. Well, I'm not
collectively.
expensive, but they're way more valuable than I thought.
Well, how much are
I
they?
just checked. So the last like 5 sales are average like 37, like 32 grand.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
so there's
What
one
is
that
this
went
on Bring a Trailer?
all over.
What car?
So this is classic.com, one of my favorite tools,
Thunderbird.
by the way. And so Thunderbird. And there's some that went for
Jesus.
high as 37, low as 16.5 for a high mileage car. And color apparently matters because the teal ones
course, yeah.
go for way higher.
Because they are the best.
Yeah.
I have a quick Thunderbird story. I was a navigator for the Silver State Classic in a Dodge Viper GTS, 150 mile an hour class. And we boiled over the clutch fluid and basically had to pull off the side of the road halfway through the race. The rules are you cannot leave. You basically have to find a safe place and wait for the entire run group to run through, which can take like an hour or more. It's in the desert, middle of nowhere in Nevada. So that happened. We pulled over, sat, waited. We had a radio. A plane came over to like check on us, still waited. And finally we get a call on the radio. They're sending someone to pick you up. There's help. And it's me and my 65-year-old driver, Richard Shriver, awesome guy. We're just waiting under this bush in the desert. Finally, the car shows up to pick us up. Thunderbird,
Two-seater.
two-seater, 2 full-grown men. I have to sit on the transmission tunnel. So, by the way, glad it was an automatic. I'm on the transmission tunnel, legs kind of like sideways. Richard's in the seat. They take us to safety. But that was the car they sent to pick 2 people up.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my.
Do you think
And
they?
then you proceeded to win the race in it.
Then we exactly. We kept going. It was like Herbie the Love Bug or
Dude,
something.
so my only Thunderbird story is I don't know what magazine it was, but when they came out, I remember I was at Barnes and Noble and I was reading about the car, and there was a huge like it was like a half-page image, and he was going 130 miles an hour. The journalist that was driving it, and in the caption, it said how stable it was at high speed, and I was just like, man, this thing is pretty badass, you know. Like, we're really hyping these things up now. So
I mean, it's an XF essentially.
yeah,
it's like
you know what's cool? The XF wagon. Those are cool.
Yeah,
they're out there.
Agreed.
If anybody in the Bay Area has one, please bring it to Morning Motors next time.
Yeah,
and let us
bring it
drive
out, and
check it out.
we might make an offer.
We want those speedster humps if you have one.
And teal,
Gur-
please.
Gurney bubbles?
No. Teal?
No, that's over your head.
What
No,
color did you
that
get?
speedster humps. I'm not tracking on the.
Speedster humps, yeah, because the 911 Speedsters have the G bodies
Have little humps.
Oh yeah.
behind you.
behind.
Is it a tonneau cover? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, but
humps.
did the Thunderbird have that styling
There was
cue?
an
I was
option.
confused.
I don't know if it was
Like a cap.
factory, but it was very,
Yeah,
you left
yeah.
me way in the dark on that
Yeah.
one.
very
You're-
common.
You're not.
It's an obscure Thunderbird accessory catalog
Yeah,
reference.
you're not keen on the
Deep cuts.
Welcome to Driving While Awesome. Mark Oh No says, is it just me or are the 996.2s looking kind of good now? Please discuss 996 horror stories so I don't get tempted to buy one.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
I know a guy.
Do you listen to this podcast?
Apparently not. Nick here, our pal.
I have a 0.1. From what I understand, the 0.2s won't blow up on you at all.
Yeah, right.
I'm kidding.
lies.
It's
Identical.
misinformation.
So you bought a really well kept one.
I did. I bought a one owner with a pile of records, but I knew that it had original IMS bearing. And because I'm foolish and I didn't have the shop set up and I was too stubborn to take it somewhere, I thought I'll just drive it occasionally in anger. And then I
as possible.
grenaded the shit out of the motor
Yeah.
at wide open throttle in third gear.
But what I like though is that everybody says, "Oh, it's 120,000 miles. Oh, it's fine. It's already been."
Mine has
it-
160, I believe. Mine's a high mileage car.
Yeah, so
If it hasn't had the problem yet, you're probably fine.
but
Yeah,
that is,
everybody says
I
that.
don't think that's true.
I agree 100%.
Basically the bearing's a wear item, and it needs to be. I think LN recommends every 75,000
they have
miles.
multiple types of bearings.
Yeah, there's just a
Ceramic
bunch of
lasts
different
longer,
varieties, but something like 75 to 100,000 miles, you probably should be swapping it out. It's not the only issue, though.
No,
you get
it's not.
there's more. There's a whole host of other. There's bore scoring. There's de-chunking. There's
heads cracking.
heads cracking. There's probably some issues with the cam
What
gear.
about the cylinders warping? Wasn't there something like they?
I think that's the
de-chunk
chunking.
failure?
Oh, de-chunk.
Yeah, they ovalize and then they like chunk out the bottom.
The actual
D shape.
the freaking sleeves just like disintegrate.
But
Yeah.
I have heard that there is an outfit here in the U.S. that is completely re-engineering the M96 motor from the castings up.
And the good news is it's super cheap.
And if it's a once and done solution, it could be it could have some pretty interesting ramifications for
That's the move.
for the platform.
And that's the key. That what you said right there, recasting is super important because the main issue is that the castings are really poor, right? And so there's like actual like they're porous.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
and so that's why I hear the heads crack. And then there's the sleeves are a different issue with the bore scoring thing.
there's a whole host of things going on. I think it was an early attempt at this particular cylinder coating they used. They did maybe have some issues with castings in production. It's a clusterfuck. You shouldn't buy one.
Yeah, you shouldn't buy one unless you go your route. But basically, you have to re-engineer the engine, and they still have oil starvation problems. So I don't know if that's something that they fix.
Oh, I think that can be fixed with a sump.
Oh, is that
like
it?
yeah? You just you
Look
put
at
a-
Clark.
I'm not saying it's not appealing.
Sounds
I'm
horrible.
not.
They look cool.
don't-
I
do look
I
cool.
like
They
this.
do
I
look
like
cool.
the spaceshipy, saucerish,
The interior
disco volante kind of
leaves
vibe.
Something to be desired.
drive
Interior's not
well.
amazing.
No, it's not amazing. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a German Ford Taurus.
Yes.
You know, and as the prices climb, like I bought mine pretty cheap, but I think, and I'm still screwed. But as the prices climb, I think it's really hard to be like, I'll buy a $40,000 996 versus a whole host of other things. But if mine is for sale later with a 3.8 motor somewhere in the 40s or 50s, that's an incredible buy.
but yours will have all the fixes.
It'll be
right?
sorted.
It'll be re-sleeved. It'll be
sorted,
all of
yeah.
the works. The works. WERKS.
Yeah,
Yes, all of the
$100,000,
works.
$30,000 car.
Precisely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. SV Expert says when you're driving a manual car and you're cruising like down the freeway, Where do you rest your shifting hand? On the shifter, on the steering wheel, or in your lap?
This is a great question, and I get a little self-conscious even when driving alone if I spend too much time resting on the shifter.
I don't like
Shouldn't
I don't do
rest on
that.
the shifter at all.
That's
I
bad.
think.
Yeah. So I'm typically hands on the wheel, but sometimes maybe you'll end up sort of absent-mindedly with your hand, leave your hand on the shifter, and then when I realize, like,
I think
back
I'm on
the
my
wheel.
knee.
Knee. That's interesting.
I'm definitely I am a fidgety motherfucker. I have a thing where I like to hold onto
got
the
a
e-brake.
fidget spinner on the shift
I like to
knob.
hold the e-brake, and I put my hand on the
You
e-brake.
hold the e-brake?
Yeah, and I'd like to press the button.
This is alarming, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do when I'm in America.
American.
Oh,
I
right.
will either do that or I'll have my right hand on the wheel and my left hand out the window doing the
Oh,
airplane.
yeah,
your thing is key
nice.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah, the
How long
airplane.
on the highway?
Hours and hours.
I love that
From
you can say
here
when
to
I'm in
Vermont.
America, too.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Aeroplane.
You have that going for you. You can just slip that into any conversation.
So I had this friend who, Peter, who used to do this all the time, and he is quite a pretentious person. I love him, but this is the best meal I've had in America.
Oh, God.
This is in America. So I try to just slide it in just as a
like
to
it.
lighten
It's
the
good.
mood.
So what do you do in Japan? Or
I hold the wheel with my left hand and do the airplane thing with my right hand.
but also
Because you're driving a K truck, so you
I
can
feel
reach
like more than half the cars you own here are also right-hand drive.
fair point.
This
When
is
I'm
very
in
true.
An American market car.
Yes.
I actually prefer driving right-hand drive cars because I like holding the wheel with my right hand because it's my
Your
thumb
dominant hand.
and
Yeah,
I can
as a
steer.
Yeah.
very left-handed person, I'm very much like the left-handed
That
driver.
makes sense. Yeah. And if it has an armrest, I'm definitely on the armrest.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
rare
if it's
that
got
you
an
have a
armrest.
Right side armrest for a manual.
Although,
I have one.
and I had
Cool,
one.
like,
I had one in the
guess
GTI. I
I'm
deleted
picturing
it.
off the
I don't really like an armrest in a manual car.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be padded.
be
The
low.
console could be flush
Yeah,
and padded.
it
That's
needs to be
nice.
low.
The S2000 has perhaps the perfect
That's
like
very nice.
tunnel with the
Yeah.
padded rest and this very short shifter. And you
Yeah.
can sort of just
Yeah.
place your hand on it.
If I recall, I think
Definitely.
the S2000 tunnel is also fairly high
Very
too. So
high.
it's like
It
you're
is.
sort of up there, which is
Armrest
it's nice.
height.
Yeah.
Snickety shifter.
It's got a great shifter.
Vlad Hooligan says, "How much is too much to pay for rims?" I'm gonna
With a Z
update there
or
for wheels. How much is too much for wheels? Is there a percentage of the car's value?
It's a different question though because rims are a thing.
Rims.
Yeah,
So
if-
So I think it's two questions. Wheels and rims are a separate question.
If it's a set of Forgiatos or something, not to hit on Forgiato particularly, probably
ahead, hate
any
on them.
probably any sum.
Okay,
But-
let me finish the question.
Okay.
Is there a percentage of the car's value or dollar figure that's too much? He says, I want BBS LMs for my Alpine E36 M3 sedan, but can't justify the spend.
BBS LMs are a store of value.
yeah.
It's sort of like buying a nice watch or something, or a nice car that you
But
keep
you
in good
have to consider
condition.
the value of the car versus the wheel.
I don't think you
I don't
do.
care.
Like
Yeah.
if you put, let's say you buy a set of LMs for $8,000 or whatever the market is on them
That's
currently.
insane. to
You put them on the
E36.
car. You enjoy them on the car. You take them off the car. They're still worth $8,000.
I know, but something could go wrong. It's the value of it.
Well,
seems
you
to be-
call
not about
Hagerty and
the
you say
car
stated value.
It's about your ability to spend.
Right.
So I feel like if you're able to buy $8,000 rims, it doesn't matter what the value of the car
You
is.
just put them on there.
Just put them on.
I think it's a really baller move. I am a huge fan of that. I love having really valuable wheels on cheap cars. I think it's because you don't give a shit. It's
Yeah.
like I just want that.
They just look great. Yeah.
I think it's rad.
I want to
That's
put
my answer.
E88s on the 911.
Yes, do that. I'm a fan. But I mean, yeah, I think you should totally get LMs, especially if it gets gold ones on the E36
Yeah,
on
dude.
Alpine.
Yeah.
That's a sick color combo.
But where do you draw the line?
Well, I mean,
has to
I
be-
think
it
it's
has to be
what
in
Clark says. I
relation.
think it's
Yeah.
as much as you can afford.
yeah,
really.
it's whatever your wheel budget is. But I would,
He says
I
he
think
can't justify the
LMs are
Well, then that's,
good.
I mean, that's
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
If you don't feel comfortable with it, you probably
Some,
shouldn't.
Right.
Something like an LM or like a high quality motorsport wheel that's well liked and has a strong secondary market. Like if you're buying something really obscure, then perhaps you're just like throwing money into
Right.
the wind.
B-
But like a
BBS
set of
RSs,
BBSs are
yeah.
just sort of known value.
I think it also depends on your use case. Like if you're, motorsport tracking it, high temps, a lot of like consistent laps and wear, that's one thing. But like back road, rough roads, you want like a sturdier wheel. Not that LMs aren't sturdy, but I'm just saying like you might consider a different type of wheel. not as eye candy, but more form over
Less rims, is what you're saying.
no, more wheel, less rim.
It's also how often you park next to a curb, because every time I park next to a curb,
a lot of curbs.
It's like it's a
It is.
not-
It is anxiety
anxiety
inducing.
causing.
It's not fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why Clark isn't rocking any of those rare Japanese, like pink heart wheels.
He is.
I do. I have them on.
Oh, did you put them on something?
I have them on the truck, but it's
son of a bitch.
a right-hand drive truck
And you
in
don't-
a left-hand drive
yeah.
world, so I can just look out the side.
You're right there.
and I can see if I'm near
Never,
the curb.
never,
By the way,
never at risk.
I don't know if you know this.
I haven't
but
seen this. I gotta go check it
You should
out.
Check it out.
We had a Radwood in Tacoma, and our raddest accessory award went to a fellow with a Mazda K truck. What is that brand?
Courage.
I'm a fan of him on the Instagram.
Oh, you know who he is? Yeah.
Of course.
They've
we've sent
connected,
messages
yeah.
to each
And
other.
he had all the accessories. He had like a matching, like little scooter in the back.
Well, he had like
and-
the outfit too.
Yep.
He had the fashion forward design. What's the brand?
Courage. Courage.
Who wants more of this amaretto or whatever it's called? It's
Amaro.
eating it's like destroying the cup though.
Just drink it fast.
Dixie cups.
Courage.
Courges.
Was there?
It's
niner
French,
in
right?
there?
Courage's.
French name.
Courage. It's
Courage.
it's his like Anton maybe. He's a French guy with an Italian first name.
Okay.
Maybe I'm French people. I'm sorry, but he's a French fashion designer from the late
Italian.
70s, early 80s, and he did all these collaborations with Japanese companies.
I see. So now they're found on K trucks and the like.
Yeah,
Would you like some
scooters.
mimosa?
Yeah, sure.
So I forgot
you.
the guy's name who won your thing.
But he also had the scooter.
and he has a fabulous wheel collection. He has so many really nice wheels that he doesn't put on cars. He just has as a collection.
What about rims?
Like
I think
Ali
he
and
has rims
steering
too.
wheels.
That's good.
Yeah, he has more than all he has.
Speaking of which, those Courages, I bet you are way more valuable than his Mazda K truck.
yes,
Yep.
and
Very well could be.
Well, how much do a K wheels like that cost?
well, so when he and I bought them, they were pretty cheap, and then now
That's pretty cheap.
I think I paid less than $400 for a new old stock set.
New old stock. Wow.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about cost per actual like volume of wheel, still
true,
fairly high
that's
because
true,
they're
'cause they are-
like 12s or something or 13s.
Two
Tens.
or 10s and
Tens.
2 or 12s. And now somebody I think paid $1,200, $1,400 for a new old stock set.
Nice.
So I mean,
12s and 10s.
I mean,
They're cool.
still. I mean, only $1,200 compared to $6,000 or $8,000
Yeah.
wheel sets, but
Right.
for K truck wheels, that's
Little
a lot
tiny
of cash.
wheels,
Yeah,
yeah.
I always see those and I think Pac-Man. I don't know why. It's something about the shape or the.
It's like a
They
little
are
bit
very
rounded, a
Pac-Man,
little
yeah.
dishy. Yeah.
By the way, that's one of the reasons that I got my Skyline is I wanted that specific color and I wanted a condition and blah blah blah. But it had gold BBS LMs and Nismo
It's true.
spec, and they're very very
They're
expensive.
super
and
nice, but your car's expensive too.
it worked
so.
out well. Yeah,
and
it's-
I would imagine that if the car was on stock wheels, it might have been a little bit less expensive.
no, I think it would be more. It's all about originality with these cars. It would,
So,
yeah, but
let me ask you this.
it wasn't as much of a hit, but originality is value. It
That's
might have
true.
been the
In
same
this particular market. Yeah.
If there's a very good competitor wheel that's generic, but it can handle abuse and you don't have to worry about it as much, is that something you would consider?
I think that's a tricky question because there's so many wheel companies these days that are doing quote unquote flow forging and other process, basically just making cast wheels. And for track use, I feel like there's only a handful of companies I would really trust. So, I mean, for the street, you get into the whole like rep versus authentic conversation,
Yeah.
which has a lot more to do with like cred and style points, I think, than
Sure,
like
sure.
functionality. But
Yeah.
It's like the Apex wheels, they make.
Apex
decent
has been
looking-
doing it a long time, and so
they're-
I would actually
they're
feel
much
pretty
more
comfortable running
affordable
those on a
than
BMW.
BBS.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Equivalent.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
totally.
I like the idea of getting used, maybe imperfect used ones before getting perhaps an inferior quality replica.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing
Because-
that I'm completely against is fake multi-piece wheels. I hate that so much.
That's
It's
super
like,
Yeah, it's a bad look.
that's not my thing. So that I can't do. But I totally agree with you. Like the Apex or even like the Koses. Like there's like the not the K1, but there's the one that looks like an RPF one that's got the multi spokes, and those are very strong. They're tracked like crazy, and they're really cheap. You can get them on Tire Rack or whatever. And that I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
That for that purpose.
Good.
But you
Oh,
can't.
Speaking of which,
But you can't rock the BBS center caps
Can't rock
on your
so
rep LMs.
That's not
speaking
no
of
why not?
which, do you guys see the news about BBS coming out with these
I did see that.
adjustable hub-centric.
I did, and then I went down a rabbit hole, and
really
apparently
understand it.
BBS has been bankrupt like 3 times in
Yep.
12 years. They're like an Italian motorcycle company.
I saw
That's
that.
very true. Yeah. But yeah, so I went
that
down
possible?
Bought by KW most recently.
I know.
I went down a different rabbit hole because I discovered that someone or 2 different companies have already done this. And so it's basically they have like it's a 5x117. That's their bolt pattern in quotes.
Okay.
And they make a really high offset wheel, and they basically sell an adapter which is what I have on my E30,
Just
and
a massive adapter.
yeah,
like
adapter,
a thick one.
and then it bolts onto the adapter, and then the adapter bolts onto your hub, and they change the thickness based on the offset that you need.
But it doesn't affect the pattern. It's just a spacer.
No, the pattern adapts to your car. So basically,
the adapter bolts on, and then the wheel bolts to that.
How do you
Exactly.
adjust the bolt pattern?
You just choose a different adapter, or is the
Yeah,
the
you choose-
adapter
you choose-
actually?
you choose an
I don't think
adapter.
it's universal. I don't think
Okay.
the adapter is universal. Yeah, so like
No, the adapter would be specific to the
so like
fitment.
so like let's say like your car is a 5x120, right?
Yeah,
The 36 M3, and their generic bolt pattern on the wheel is 5x117. So the wheel bolts up to the adapter on the 5x117 side, and then on the back of the adapter
Adapts to that.
to the wheel hub. Yeah. So if you
So
look at it,
in this instance, you would basically just like if you were pulling the wheels off your car, you'd take the wheels, you'd unbolt the 5x117 pattern, and you'd leave these adapters on your hubs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
My mind just went to a wheel that had the entire center maybe locked in.
Oh,
with,
that could be
teeth.
cool. Yeah.
I don't know how you'd make it strong enough
Interesting.
or stable enough, but that the hub could be anything.
Just like slid on there, like an annular wheel, sort of, but
Yeah.
splined.
yeah, splined.
I have this amazing set of 12-inch wheels in my shop, which are advertised specifically as every bolt pattern. They have 4 or 5 different bolt patterns, and they have this
Sweet.
amazing triangular shaped cover that goes over it with these
Yes.
colored
This is
hardwares.
These are the wheels I was thinking of.
Yeah, and I haven't put them on yet because they're also new old stock, and I don't want to scratch them. But the whole selling point and the whole ornamentation of them was the fact that they are multi-PCD, and you can enjoy motorsport in your own way, however you want.
Yes. choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
PCD is
Pattern.
the
Something
pattern.
diameter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
so but yeah, real quick. So it turns out that RH, like that wheel company that makes a lot of the Speedline replicas for Porsches, they've done this in the past. That's one of 2 companies, and they had the whole thing was that all wheels were 5x130, but then they had a different adapter in the back, and so that was surprising to see because basically it's the same concept as BBS. So
Yeah, I don't know.
get
I
it.
mean, I think it has to be very limiting aesthetically. Like you're only going to get sort of
Because- yeah.
shallow dish, nearly flush kind of wheel designs that will work with
or convex, right? Like,
or convex.
Yeah, and I think they show it. It's like it looks like a modern kind of like a, it's like a meshy style,
turbofan.
but really thin spokes.
But I'm sure these are TUV approved,
They
so
are,
they
yeah.
must have gone through extensive testing. You always hear that. People always say like, oh, you're running big adapters, it's loading your wheel bearings up, blah, 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 blah. But I think that has a lot more to do with the center line of the wheel as it relates to the hub.
Yeah, it's a scrub radius thing too. Like
Yeah.
So
assuming all those are addressed with these fitments.
yeah, it looks like a
fine.
spindly, like modern
Yeah.
performance wheel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can see the adapter in the back. But yeah, I mean, I support the idea.
What's
It's cool.
their selling point on it? Is it just they only have to make one tool and they
Yeah,
can save
so
cost?
it's exactly. So they make one wheel and it's always the same bolt pattern, and then you adapt it to your hub.
Yeah,
doesn't sound like
hypothetically, you can carry it from car to car, although most people would just get different wheels for a different car.
And I wonder how that hub wears and gets. I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't.
Nah.
No,
There's no.
it's just like sandwiched.
Yeah,
between.
it's just
Yeah.
bolted up. Yeah.
Interesting
But
stuff.
it does seem kind of like it's like we want to save money, so
Yeah.
we're giving you this feature.
Yes.
It's not a feature.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
also read that apparently they're trying to move away from OEM wheel manufacturer.
That seems
okay.
like that'd be their bread and butter.
Well, I think what happened is during periods of economic downturn, large like global companies have the ability to be like, I know I'm net 30, but we're going to be net 300, and they don't pay. And so reading through the press release or whatever info I found, it seemed like that maybe was a culprit with their liquidity problems. Was that they had a bunch of product out and were expecting to receive payment from OEMs and didn't. So
We would have loved, like, we're having our Radwood this weekend in Atlanta, and it's across the street from BBS, their headquarters.
right, yeah. Is that
America.
the whole U.S. or is it just motorsport operations?
I'm not sure.
They're right by Road Atlanta.
It's not very
Yeah.
big, so I
Yeah.
bet it's like, if it is.
Yeah, they're right
it's probably
by
like
because you guys are doing it at Linear, right?
Yeah.
Linear.
Yeah, they're right next door.
It's incredible, how like they're one of the most iconic and they've struggled so much, but they make a very high quality product that's very expensive, right? Like if you go for the real deal, and so a lot of it is kind of the aftermarket, or not the aftermarket, sorry, the secondhand stuff that's kind of keeping the brand alive, right? Like the
I don't know. Like
stuff
I don't know how many people are buying new. Like how many sets they're selling new.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Sure, like a bird.
Yeah,
Squawking. Maybe it was a owl.
Raccoons up in the ceiling.
A crazy raccoon story, but we'll save that for another time. Chef Malone Jr. What's up, Chef? He says, with my dog and recent acquisition of a litter of children, I'm looking at godforsaken minivans. He just had twins.
He had twins. Yeah.
I know the Sienna is the obvious choice, but is there another all-wheel drive minivan you would consider? I don't know if there's another all-wheel drive minivan, period.
Previa.
The only thing I can tell you is you can go full-size van. You can get a Transit, four-wheel drive, passenger configuration. It's a big dog. You're going big dog now, but
you can put big stuff in there.
big stuff in there.
You can.
And you sit up high. It's
Truck style.
King of the road, so to speak. Sprinter would be
It's
another
not a bad
option.
angle,
It's not a bad
but
angle. I
you're
know it
not going to
seems-
get like the built-in vacuum and like
No, and
seven
it's gonna
seven
rattle.
TVs.
what about
New minivans have
What about the
insane
Metris,
feature
the
sets.
Mercedes, does that all-wheel drive?
No all-wheel drive, and they're not great.
What about safety though? Like the van that you're talking about compared to like a
Yeah, you're right.
modern.
It's
But
going to road hold. Sienna's
What-
going to be.
I'm pretty sure the Pacific is all-wheel drive too. The Pacific Hybrid.
I
It's
think
also a
you
little bit crap.
could. It's very bad. They're very bad.
Pacific Hybrid.
You have first-hand experience with this
I have a
minivan?
friend who has one, and
I do
it's,
too.
it's a little
Really?
bit crap.
Okay.
Problematic.
They're horrible.
It's just you can tell it's cheap in a bunch of different ways.
And they've had a lot of problems under warranty, like
Oh,
a
shit.
lot of issues. So
I rented one once and it was fine for that. But
yeah, that'll be good
for a family.
But you could get
It's no
you could
Nissan
get- you could just
Versa.
put rims on
Rims.
on this
You could-
van,
you
and
could.
that solves the problem.
So he had sent me
Deuces.
a mattress with like a body kit or lowered on good wheels rims, and it looked amazing. He says, "What's to stop me from doing this?" And I said, "Well, here's some things I've heard and seen. They're not great, and it's unfortunate because they should be much better." But
The Sienna on rims would look pretty nice.
that's
too,
what I'm saying. That's what I
probably.
told him. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I told him.
Yeah.
But
Why no station wagon?
Why?
wagon's too small.
Why no?
Why no 3-row SUV?
Yeah. Why not three years?
SUVs are
Now we're talking to a Japanese guy.
Pretty
here.
blasé.
He can't even weigh in on the subject. He's so uncomfortable.
the SUV represents everything that's wrong with America.
No, Walmart does, but yes, it's
But
on
it's the
the
same thing. SUVs and
But if you
Walmart's
take your
synonymous.
SUV to Walmart,
That's what all the
Game
SUVs
over.
are meant for, right?
Game
But
over. I'm
they're
just thinking,
very
like,
usable,
Yes,
functional.
and you're talking about
things.
sitting up
are
high, and
highly
they
usable.
drive well. That's also
drive well.
key. They
CX-9
drive well.
CX-9
Yeah.
Mazda, you have to cross shop with these Highlander CX-9 that
Yeah.
class.
can you get a new
Highlanders are nice.
CX-9 now? Because there were none on lots like
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know about
for
all
a
that,
good
but
chunk of the year.
I don't even. I'm not sure if he's looking brand new either. But
Or
my in-laws
even
just got a
lightly used.
CX-9. It has a great interior. They're well styled. It handles well. The third row's small, but they're all going to be pretty small, even in a minivan.
Yeah,
Um,
dog will be fine back there.
dog will be fine.
Did you just get the Hyundai SUV?
No, it was Lane.
Lane
He's
got the Kia,
Kia.
the Telluride.
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 People like
loves-
that.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
He's a big fan.
People like that.
People like him.
most
That's a
people-
3-row SUV,
Yeah,
Clark.
but
It is.
I don't like it. But people like it. I didn't say
Because
I
I don't
liked it.
personally,
There's
but
been
people like
people
it.
to know, are known to have liked it.
people
A lot
have
of people like it a lot. So I'm recommending
reportedly.
it.
I know.
Yeah.
They say.
They
But
say.
I don't think you need to go that. I mean, that's like right. That's a kind of a weird one. It's between Highlander and a full size. It's not quite full size. It's not.
Highlanders are also very nice.
They are nice.
Yep.
But you know,
The van, though, compared to a 3-row SUV, feels, I think, in my limited experience driving both, just better to
Airier.
drive.
Airier.
I don't know if that's.
I mean,
true.
it's
They
more
drive
spacious certainly,
heavy.
but
Yeah.
like if
They
you're
don't drive well.
gonna
They drive
take
heavy.
it to, let's say like a Tahoe or a Big Bear vacation or something.
If it's all-wheel drive.
Like if you're gonna do that, you're probably better off in the
He's
SUV.
definitely his ideal situation is they're going to pile the thing in with skis and go skiing
Right,
all
yeah.
the time.
But this
Not-
is
Although,
this is
God,
the thing.
a lot of
They're gonna go
skis.
3 times a year.
Yeah.
If that.
And then they're going to drive around
Yeah,
town every
every
day.
other
I know.
time.
And
That's
that's the
true.
thing.
But see, then you might want the
Clark's not wrong.
higher riding Highlander hybrid. They're not cheap though. They're 50.
But what
grand,
about what his
60
wife
grand.
wants to drive? Does she want to drive a van?
I think she
Does she
they
want to
have
drive an SUV?
they
Does she
have
want to drive a
Tiguan
commercial
now.
van?
I guarantee
Penske
she doesn't
box
wanna-
truck?
She doesn't want to drive a commercial van.
What was the Volkswagen that van that I fell in love with in England that we
mean,
rented? Was
they
that the
don't make 'em.
T5?
Yeah.
That's
The
like,
T5.
those are so cool.
They
I wish
don't-
we had that because
they
it's a
don't get 'em.
nice. It's like a car, but it's a van and
It's a larger Euro
spacious.
van is what it
Dri-
felt
and
like.
it drove great. And that's the thing is that minivans drive like ass. Like every minivan I've driven, they drive so bad. Like they're
that bad.
But do
and
they
like-
drive worse than 3-row SUV? Because three-row SUVs drive like ass.
Well, it depends on which one.
I think the Mazda CX-9. Go
Mazdas are
find a
sporty.
CX-9.
Zoom. Or
Zoom.
what? Driving
Zoom-
matters.
yeah. Is it not Zoom
It's
anymore?
driving matters.
Ah, shit.
It's the new one.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. Look it up. Driving matters.
Zooming matters.
Drive everything. Modern CLA 6, Class 6. I get it. What would you cross shop a 996 GT3 with if you're looking for a similarly visceral experience?
Whoa, interesting. That's the price point's gnarly now. What are these worth now?
150 grand or something?
Jeez, really that much?
I don't know. Is that
What?
Check.
a
I don't know.
996 GT3?
They're
What
so
Oh shit!
expensive
The
now.
nicest 996 GT3 in the world would be 150, maybe.
okay.
I feel like they're still south of 100. When I
don't
was
know about
shopping
that.
a
Are you
year
sure?
ago, they
Are
were
you
like
sure?
75.
Well, they
but,
were.
they were.
Yeah.
I think they're.
I don't think they are anymore.
All right, let's take a look. I haven't been shopping. I put all my money in this place.
Interesting. Okay, so 996 GT3 average sale at all auctions. This is across all the current auctions
For how long? For how long?
for the last year is 86 grand.
Yeah,
south
there you
of
go.
100.
There you go.
Okay. Surprised.
Yeah,
I thought
south
they
of
were-
100.
I thought they were
So
valuable.
this time last year, drivers were in the 60s. So I figure drivers are probably in the 80s now.
So for that money, what is another visceral experience vehicle? I mean,
How about
mean,
the Cadillac?
You start to get into you can get an NSX
you
for
mean
that
a
kind of money,
LeBaron?
right?
It's not
No, not
very
the
raw
LeBaron.
though.
The,
Not like
uh,
that. Ford Thunderbird, right up
CTSV?
there.
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
CTSV. I think that's too cosseted. That's too
Too luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
too sedaned. It
But
won't
it
be
is-
as visceral as a GT3.
but
I
it
mean,
is-
GT3
it
is
is-
like thin,
But it's visceral in a different
insulation.
way. It's a visceral and like wheel spin at 80
Oh,
miles
for
an
sure.
hour. or
There's
whatever.
definitely that.
But it's
there's
not race car
There's
visceral.
distance from all those inputs, right? Like you do things in that car, and you have to like wait to hear it. Whereas
I
the GT3 is
understand.
like
Yeah.
locked
I think
in.
you're into like some driver, like maybe driver Ferrari money at that price point, but the
What
cars
the-
are the
360
cars.
Modena.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get like a,
A 360
360 F1.
No. 360 manual is still in that
Really?
same ballpark.
Really for 90?
Yes.
I don't know about
Absolutely.
Wow.
105 is a
Okay.
nice one, and the same thing
Okay.
goes for GT3.
Okay, yeah,
Like
sure.
a
Yeah.
pretty good, like
Yeah,
good colors, good condition. 360 motor.
360 manual is a good choice.
That's
I
a-
would go
that's a good-
Spider.
I'm surprised that they're that cheap.
Yeah.
I like that. The hardtop.
No,
is
they
so
look beautiful,
pretty.
but the top off is cool with the engine behind you.
I mean,
It's
it's
sense
not
of
bad.
occasion.
Yeah, it's not bad. But the Roadster or the Coupe is fantastic. Yeah.
Shit, there isn't really a lot, man. Like, because everything else, even like a fucking E46 M3 CSL is like not the same.
What about
you know?
an
like,
No.
And you
Evora?
can't even get those.
And you
here,
can't
so-
get them here, yeah.
What about an Evora?
Ooh, Lotus could be cool.
Interesting.
I just am very anti-Evora because you have to take the entire clamshell off to
How
they're
about
not
how
do
about
anything.
how about an Exige?
No, it's a go-kart.
That's way too gnarly.
Is that
That's way more visceral.
Way
That's
more
good though,
visceral.
Too
right?
visceral.
Is that not good?
too visceral, it's
He
like
wants
half the
What about a
price.
Caterham?
Yeah, right. What about a motorcycle?
Dude, I don't know, man. Exige,
what about a Desmo
get an
Sedici?
Exige S, dude. They're pretty fucking cool. I mean, they're super raw. They're like
They're
the
the
most.
rawest
They're as
car.
analog as it gets.
Too raw, too special,
It's
too
full on
bulldog.
race car. It's full on race car. And
race car.
definitely get under that. You probably get them for like 60 or something these days. I don't know how much they go for anymore.
And this is why the 911 is the magic car.
I know.
Because
That is
it
true.
just
What
is.
about a pick your flavor of GTR?
No.
Not the same. More.
I'm talking old, not new.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think they're
It's still yeah. I think the closest.
I was going to say NSX, but they're not as raw.
Well, that's what
they're
that's
not
my
wrong.
the first thing I went to. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking other Porsches. I was thinking probably like a GT4
Right.
or something.
I
Like,
think a
You could go
360 Modena
you go
is
older.
a
I
very
think
good
that
choice.
360 is a good choice. Yeah.
How about like a newer GT4? because that's what you were
I was
just saying.
thinking.
Yeah, but that's
Yep,
actually
yep,
pretty
yep.
good.
That's probably as close as you're gonna get. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a newer GT4.
It's probably
Yeah.
comparable in performance with the
Yeah, definitely.
generational difference.
Price
I would
wise, it's
take
right
the
about there.
GT3 in that scenario,
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah.
but it's a good option.
Definitely
An
raw.
Alpha 4C is a pile of garbage, so you don't want that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, man. I mean, there's probably some Bureau shit that we don't
Some
get.
import stuff that you could
Yeah.
finagle, maybe.
Yeah, and
What about,
R8s are
like,
renowned for being super
You're
refined.
kind of
so.
on something
Yeah.
with CTS, but like a GT500 or something like real
Haven't driven
handful.
one. Yeah.
big
I haven't
muscle
driven
car
one.
kind of thing.
I
haven't
haven't Ben's
either.
got that one.
Or GT350R.
Those are
That's-
still
that's-
too cosseted.
CO6
Yeah. Yeah, I know. There's those like the
There-
ZL1.
Lingenfelter.
There
yeah,
are
like-
there is whatever the
Hennessy. Yeah.
GT500 is with the track package is still street legal, and
I
it's
think so.
it's like a pretty
It's like
race
a
car.
yeah,
race
it's pretty
car
race
car.
car.
They're
Yeah.
awesome, man.
There's also the Camaro, right?
Camaro ZL or
1LE.
1LE is supposed to be insane
1LE.
too. Yeah. I haven't
Actually, you
driven
know
one.
what? A car that I haven't driven that I'm very
you
interested
can get
in.
all sorts of Vipers for $100,000, right?
You can.
That's a
absolutely.
visceral, crazy
Absolutely.
experience.
So different. I mean, visceral.
Super
On
different.
the visceral scale,
But
yes, but like
There's
Dude, what is that?
There's
Like an ACR?
Viscera.
way.
There's Viscera all over that car.
Viper ACR, if you can get it for that price in that price range,
that's
I mean,
a
that's doable.
handful of
Literally
cars.
Yeah.
never shopped ACRs. I couldn't tell you what they cost.
Yeah, but I was
Not that much.
so the other car that I was thinking of though is if you go, I am blanking out now. You said Viper. What was the one before that? I can't remember now. It's fading.
Corvette. The
Oh yes,
turbocharged Lingenfelter
I don't
Corvette.
know. I think it's 2 generations ago. Z28. You know the manual. It had the
Yeah.
NA LS in it, and it was like super bare bones. It looked like a fucking literal like penalty box interior, like the most basic gauges, halogen headlights, but like one of the most amazing chassis ever. Big fucking square, like 295s all around, like cool aero. You know what I'm talking about? It was like
I'm not sure.
It's like a 2015.
I'm not sure that was a Z28.
It was
might
a
be another
Z28.
package.
It was a Z28, and those are basically a track car, and they look super fun. And actually, Chris Harris had one, and it was one of his favorite cars. He said,
Struggle with the really tall sills or
mean-
really tall
it's
doors
all
in
those
those
ugly,
cars. It's
right?
like really weird visibility.
"It's definitely
Yeah,
ugly."
like the Challenger, the Camaro, the
Yeah.
Mustang, essentially. But
I think the Mustang's got a little bit of a better canopy.
I do too. Yeah, the Mustang's the best looking of them. What does the 350R cost these days?
I don't know. I haven't
That's
looked.
over GT3 price?
Could be.
I don't know. Maybe right
They're
around the
pretty
same.
rare.
Actually.
Carbon fiber wheels.
Yeah, they're pretty rare.
Yeah, but this thing's pretty cool. I mean, I think shit. If you see it, you'd recognize it. But it's like I'm pretty sure it's 2 generations ago because the current one's really squinty, right? And then the one before that was the robot one. What was it? The Transformers. And then the one before that was like where the eyes are a little bit.
I'm still
bigger.
trying to think through other stuff. Supra? It's not that visceral.
No.
But
Supra?
with like 600 wheel horsepower, could be pretty visceral.
I mean, what about like an S54 M Coupe, like the Z3 M Coupe with the S54 in it, with maybe some cool suspension?
Nah, still like a
No.
well refined Autobahn.
Well, I
Cruiser.
mean, 96 GT3 isn't like a straight race car. It's still
It's pretty raw.
Yeah.
It's got a
it's
thin
gonna be
roof.
it's gonna be more
it's-
so than
it's
a
pretty raw
clown
car.
shoe. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We've
That's it for
we've
questions.
wrung this question dry.
That's it for questions. We're done. We're done. Clark, did you go to SEMA?
I did not go to SEMA, but I watched the coverage on Instagram.
Which is
coverage on Instagram.
just as good with less coronavirus.
Watched, yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. I haven't got a full report. I know a few people that went, but I haven't heard if it was anything.
I could give you the secondhand Lane story. We'll just wait till he comes back.
Yeah,
but
well,
Lane and I
we'll do.
talked about it for a few minutes.
I got the secondhand report that SEMA is dead.
Really?
Yeah. So Ford was not there,
I know that.
Neither was
Uh,
Honda.
Honda, yeah.
and
Yeah,
but they
neither
were
was
apparently
Hagerty.
replaced by a even larger ocean of bro trucks than any prior year.
Yeah, that's not a selling point, Nick, I'm gonna
And
be honest with you.
And Hoonigan had the big barnyard thing, I think, in
Yeah.
lieu of some of the manufacturer presence.
Dude, and that was not going to be the case. Like literally a month ago, I was talking
Crazy.
to those dudes, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not doing it." And so originally, they
You're talking to
had
the Hoonigan guys?
Yeah,
or-
they originally had to pay, and I have a feeling that they
right.
probably were,
Ford backed out or something.
They
and then
waived it, and they're like,
yeah.
we just they need
yeah,
they need
content.
eyeballs." Yeah,
One of the things that was kind of cool was look like there was tons of very ornate lowriders.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, mini
Which-
trucks and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, with
Some
the
of that
dancing,
stuff. Yeah.
dancing bed and the.
I'm down with that, and a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of Skylines this
And the
year, like
crazy
not R35s,
engraving.
yeah, R33s and R32s.
There's always going to be some standouts like that Toyo tent. There's some crazy builds, and the Ring Brothers brought some cool stuff, but it's hardly a reason to go to that show.
From the coverage and talking to folks, it felt a bit recessionary.
Yeah.
Like
Well, this is also
everyone has pulled up
But
their
it shouldn't.
stakes, and
this
is
should be the
not-
time to go big after COVID.
Well, the review that I was given by a friend who normally sells a lot of product to distributors, he imports a thing and then resells it to his
other things. Yeah,
other people who then resell it to customers. And he was saying that SEMA has traditionally been this place where every year the OEMs, the companies, do their big product launch. And so you have to be there to see what the future is.
Yeah.
And as people have been spreading that over the course of the year, and it's no longer SEMA-centric, it's just turned into a hot rod show and a really big, fancy
that
hot rod
makes sense.
show.
Yeah.
But it's no longer sort of about creating products.
And the debuts seem to be leaking earlier and on social media more often, and it's taking the wind out of the sails of that show where you used to go and it's like
Absolutely.
it's the first time you're seeing this, and it's like
I've also heard from industry folks like your friend, people who are in distributor working at big companies that are selling a lot of product. That this is often a place where you go to strike those big deals with big clients.
Yep.
And I would be curious to see if the deal flow has maybe slowed down a little bit.
Deal Flow. I like that.
Deal Flow, it's a good rapper name.
That is a good rapper name.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was definitely like my experience with SEMA before us going as journalists and with Radwood and all that was going with GoPro, and that's where I would meet our distributors. Like I would literally, it was meetings all day and then partying all night, and it was just that exact thing. It was striking deals. It was not only meeting pre-existing ones, but also finding new ones for new regions, for new markets, for new specific kind of niches, and also dealers too, right? Like there was, I wasn't focused domestically, but I was more on the international side, and that was definitely a place. It was a networking opportunity, right? And so, yeah, I have no idea if that's still the case. I think from a social media influencer kind of like media type of deal, like I think that still might be the case. Like I feel like a lot of the people that needed to be there were there this year. Like, I mean, from what I saw.
But like, is it just a giant event so people can create YouTube videos, or is there actual like commerce taking place?
I think it's more the latter right now.
It's nothing like Outdoor Retailer, which is what you described, a business event without any.
What's that?
It's where all of the outdoor and sort of like clothing and shoe and whatnot.
Teva.
Yes.
And Patagonia go.
They sell to all the sort of local department.
And they show off like what they're
the new product.
Outdoor
wears.
Retailer, was that in, oh no, that was the Teva Mountain Games. No, where is that?
It was in
Vegas
Salt Lake.
Salt Lake.
And then it was for a few years in Colorado.
Colorado's where I'm thinking.
And now it's back in Salt Lake.
Yeah, okay.
Have you been?
I have.
Nice.
It's a phenomenal show for doing business and networking. What you described.
You go to Overland Expo pretty frequently as well, right?
I haven't been for a couple of years, but that is also an interesting show because for the first couple days, like the weekdays, it is kind of like a business show, but then it turns into a complete sort of like public facing show on the weekend, and so it has a really fun character to it because
that sounds cool.
It has that duality.
I'd like to go.
Everybody camps, which is where a lot of people camp at the show, like on the show grounds, which gives it sort of a different sort of
That's awesome.
bonding experience.
Yeah. It's like
I think we were kind of
Woodstock.
talking about this came up in maybe a prior episode, like we were remarking that Monterey Car Week had a lot of like car debuts and launches and like big splashy things that OEMs would perhaps reserve historically for like the New York Auto Show or Detroit or whatever. And it's like, does there continue to be a reason to have some of these shows if OEMs are behaving differently when it comes to like debuting new vehicles
I think
or
that's
important
the
new
thing,
products?
it's becoming way more boutique in their like relationship with the public and journalists. They're making these. They'll have like a debut in Aspen for a vehicle, and they'll ship people out there, and it's way cheaper than doing something like
Big trade show style
big trade
thing,
show,
yeah.
auto show launch, right?
Yeah,
So-
definitely. I think auto shows, unfortunately, are becoming a showroom for like the average person. You know, like it's literally an opportunity to sit in a bunch of different SUVs or sedans and make a choice. You know, but
Which is cool.
It's helpful in that sense. But I mean, yeah, like from what we've seen, like in the last 5-6 years, it's like it's not like this big like hyped up event for this reveal. Like I think those places, I mean, those events still happen on occasion, but it's definitely shifted significantly. Like you have Geneva, still significant, right? And
but less so. I mean,
yeah,
it's like
but it's still less so,
supercar, right?
The
And,
Tokyo
like,
Auto Show is still like one of those, right? But it's again less so. Like it's starting to fade.
the fact that like the Quail in Carmel Valley had 5 important debuts for the automotive world, which is like, and not just debuts, but concept cars. So like Lincoln, Audi, Bugatti, Koenigsegg, like
Singer, I think,
Singer,
as well.
Lamborghini, Gordon Murray was there obviously, and Pagani and all these other
Lotus
boutique
a couple
stuff.
of years ago had their thing.
Yeah. But like rather than do the Detroit Auto Show, Lincoln showed their concept at the Quail, which is like it's a kind of an interesting point.
Well, it's also been a really big cultural shift because SEMA is very blue collar America,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and has become progressively more so.
Yeah.
It seems like to me.
Well, it seems like it started that way, and then it's come maybe full circle,
Perhaps,
now, right?
perhaps,
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's interesting to see though too, because there is a lot of the high end stuff too, like the Ring Brothers, which is not blue collar, right? It's like very like
it's Rich Plumber.
It's
it is not.
It's the guy who owns
it's contractor
For
It is,
sure.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
contractor.
It's the guy who
Yes.
owns
Yeah.
the company of plumbers.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That can, of
Yes,
Trucking.
The ring.
Yes.
The ring.
He has a trucking company.
air conditioners.
Yeah.
He owns the
But
mine.
by the way,
coal
Ring,
mine.
Ring Brothers is like amazing.
They do.
The work was amazing.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
they
like-
do. They do very high quality work for sure.
It makes you proud to be
yeah.
an American, at least where you're free or whatever the song says.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you see all this shit, right? You see the singers, you see all these, these companies just absolutely killing it, right? And then
But they're just doing
but-
one car.
But it's
These
like
guys
that one
do
car, right? But then these guys are just so skilled.
pretty wild.
and everything is so well executed. I mean, I hear they're all 7-figure builds, right?
Oh.
Like, but
Yeah.
so it takes that, but they're also just fucking craftsmen for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I
they
think-
do it right.
My big takeaway from the Instagram coverage of SEMA this year was that we're in a pretty amazing era of hot rodding. And it was about, for me, the coverage was about the one-off builds like this rather than the production-focused
Yep.
cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I think it's an exciting time to build custom cars for sure.
yeah, the quality is definitely
Zany.
every year.
Zany is what.
You're going zany.
Yeah. Nick threw out zany builds recently a lot.
Oh, did I? Did I say zany?
Yeah, even in
with
the even the
respect
most,
to who?
We talked about it after last podcast. There was zany builds.
Oh, yeah.
and you texted.
I guess I use the
zany.
word zany sometimes. Yeah.
specifically with
Guilty as
builds.
charged. Yeah. It's just like, but there's all of these like modern technologies that are like that people are now really using in a mature way to build cool vintage cars, like all the rapid prototyping and printing metal and all of this crazy shit that you really couldn't do a few years ago.
Yeah.
And
I mean, even creating fixturing for tube frames with printed
Yeah.
elements and
Yeah.
water jet elements and
Yeah, that makes sense. I
I
mean,
still don't. I feel like we've been talking about 3D printing forever, and there's still not a lot of like real applications in my life that I.
well, not in your life, but in like
for.
motorsports for sure.
The person
guess
who's the
so.
most inspiring to me in this sort of world is 3D Magic Mike from the internet, who works for the Roadster shop.
Yep.
And he does a lot of 3D printing for tooling, for fixturing.
Okay.
like jigs and stuff like that. You mean?
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'll-
press dies and
he was
all kinds of
he was
stuff.
printing, forming dies.
yeah,
for
so
hydraulic
cool.
press.
Yeah, you
That's
can
cool.
print the die and then like fill it with some sort of super hard epoxy resin and then use them to stamp parts.
He figured out you don't even need to fill it. You
Oh,
just
really?
put the-
Nice.
a cap or something.
Instagram's
No, you just-
Instagram's algorithm stuff
that
giving
strong?
me
Yeah.
3D Magic Mike post all
That
the time.
sounds
I gotta
pretty
go
cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nerdy
like
stuff.
more of his
yeah.
stuff.
It's awesome. But yeah, I can see that being the case in manufacturing. It's a big deal, right? I have something related to this that I wanted Lane to be a part of this. So I'll bring it up again because he was at SEMA. But I feel like people are very, very negative on the EVs with like the customizable sounds, which it doesn't bother me at all. I feel like it's literally like just it's something that everybody talked about before, and
Well,
they're
you're
like,
also not replicating. You're not replacing something.
no,
You're
it's
just
like
adding,
it's adding, and the fact that you could do multiple, it's like it's all video gamey. It's like it's just like literally for the sake of like
What?
There's two
entertainment.
complaints. One is making any sound, and two is making an IC sound. So if you're trying to make it sound like an electric car sound like a Ferrari, it's maybe a bit cheesy. But if you're trying to make it sound like a spaceship, it's pretty awesome.
I think cheesy is fine though. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah?
feel like it's
Yeah.
whimsical and it's whimsical and it's not taking itself seriously, right? You're not trying to be like the guy with like the big Lopey idle hot rod down the
So
street.
you're
You're
into
like
like the fart mode.
Wait, but
no, I'm into
isn't
like all of the
but
sounds.
isn't
Literally that?
isn't Borla literally trying to sell you like a like a 308 sounding EV, like like
they're
like
literally doing
like it's a
that.
Yeah, but
product they're trying
I
to
feel
sell.
like I know it's just
I
like,
don't feel any kind of way about it, but
it doesn't bother me, and I think like it would be entertaining to do like an F1 sound, like it akin to the Jetson sound. Like it's because it's obviously not that. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I see
Like
it. It's like
you're like Chevy Volt and you're going
yeah,
down the
yeah,
road and
it's fucking hilarious. Like I
screaming
think it's entertaining and it puts a smile on my face, and that's all that matters. Like I don't care, like, and so that's kind of the way I see it. It's like supposed to be fun.
you're all that matters is what you're saying.
So if they're selling it as a whoopee cushion, then sure. But that's not how any of the marketing is being pitched. It's not how the position is. It's being very serious.
Well, it depends, right? It's serious with the Dodge because they're making it. It's like this tiger fucking Liger.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
Liger.
I haven't even seen that.
It sounds
It's
like
their new,
it's like a hybrid. Ralph Gills was at this
They
talk that we're
literally
at.
use like 3 sounds, and one was a tiger.
One was Star Trek or some shit,
Yeah.
or like a Star Wars starship, or I don't know. Yeah, but it's like a
Oh,
hybrid
yeah,
of
this
3
is
sounds.
this is starting to ring a bell.
and
Yeah.
and it sounds.
It sounds cool.
It's like a lion,
it's
a tiger,
interesting.
and a
But-
spaceship.
But that's not something you can change. That's just the sound of that
That's
car.
the sound of the car, and it's the sound of the car. That's the way I'm saying. It's like, why does it
Yeah.
have to be offensive? It's like okay, it's an electric vehicle. It doesn't sound like anything.
I mean, we've been
but
piping fake engine noise into cabins for years.
That's
people don't
also
like that.
offensive.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
super offensive.
super
I
offensive.
don't like fake cabin sounds. I don't mind augmented. Like where they have like piping from the intake, like the BRZs do that, and like a lot of different cars
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So like, or even the new GT4 RS, right? Like it's all induction in the cabin. You have that sound because it's piped, like literally piped in, right?
But that's
Like
not an electronic.
No,
sound.
it's not fake. Like it's
using,
whereas there's a lot of like modern.
So you're
cars.
saying so you're saying if it has an internal combustion engine, then you don't want synthetic noises
Yes.
to be delivered to you. But if it
Yes.
has an electric drivetrain,
Which is
the
basically the
synthetic
lack.
noises are very serendipitous.
It's the lack of sound.
it's all
right?
you got.
So now
Yeah,
you're filling in the lack of sound.
Yeah,
with
it's
well, I think
sound.
the synthetic noises were originally introduced because they'd gotten
There's no
so
sound.
good at making things quiet.
quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
It's
is
really
lame
the
because
same
I'll just take
argument.
the quiet. Just give me the natural sound.
Yeah.
How's that bitter going?
It's nice, dude. I'm
Yeah?
almost yeah. It's actually.
Nick
are you talking
poured
about the cup situation?
Nick
or
poured a
That-
bowl over there.
That was art.
I poured him a bowl. I poured myself the
those
same
are-
amount. I'm halfway through it. It's great, man. It's very sippable.
It's 2 fingers.
It's a nice
sippable.
situation here. I
a nice
appreciate the Amaro de la something. I
You guys
can't
have
see
any
what
other
else it is.
updates?
De la Sacra.
Yeah, I do have an update. So my wire harness arrived. It looks
Yeah,
like
it looks
my
like.
windage tray oil pump arrived.
Very exciting.
And I did reach out to BMW Dude 2002 or whatever, the guy with the cluster.
Sick about the clusters.
So this is a little bit of trivia. So my gauge cluster my car is a 1987. So the earlier gauge clusters do not work with the plug system harness, whatever the fuck it's called, with the motor. I'm putting in a K24 in it, or Nick is putting a K24 in it. So I have to get the later cluster, right?
The Royal We.
Royal We. So the later cluster is an 88 through 92. It's a different system, whatever. And so that's number one. I have to get a later cage cluster. Number two, I want to put a different tack on it because this engine, the way that it's tuned, from the factory with the way it's set up, it basically makes peak horsepower around 8,000 RPM. So I'm getting a tack that red lines at 8 and goes to 9, but I found there's a guy that K-Miata recommended, or K-Power, that makes an exact replica with the exact same font and everything, and the tack looks like it's OEM except that it red lines at 8.
I
And it
really
goes to 9.
want to shout out this guy's email address 'cause it's really good, but I don't
It's
remember
pretty good.
it.
It's like BMW dude
It's
something,
like-
right? So two things, right? I need a later gauge cluster and I want a different tack that looks the same. It looks stock, but it revs higher. I reached out to him. I asked him do you refurb them and I send you mine basically and you can redo it if I have one that's an 88 to 92? Or can you, do you have some in stock and can I just buy one and then you can do the tack and all that shit? So he quoted me both prices. Guess how much it costs for him to, one, update the SI batteries, right? Because those go bad, go bad on the circuit board. And then to not change anything in the tack itself mechanically, but install a tack that looks OEM but red lines at 8.
New
and goes
face.
to 9. New face.
New face, new needle.
I was gonna say overlay, but that's not the right.
I think
word.
it's a whole face. He does probably
Whole
How
face.
much
screen
to do
printed.
that?
Yeah. So how much to do it if I provide my tack or my cluster?
Wait,
and
but
how much if he does it?
Can you provide your cluster? I thought your
I
cluster
can't-
was non-compatible.
Not mine, but if I buy
Okay,
one, right?
okay,
So like
Just
if I
buy
provide,
like a generic,
Yeah.
or whatever.
exactly. So there's two prices. One if I provide my generic 325 IS or
Yeah.
88 through 92, or he has one on his shelf. I pay for that one, and he also does the service. Guess how much that costs?
So the service.
Yeah, so that's installing that little dial,
Yeah.
which requires opening it up and
and
2 screws.
servicing the board.
Servicing the board, so he tests it, he bench
Yeah,
tests
yeah,
everything and all that shit.
So you're asking price with core or without
I
core?
think service, just the service to do it. If you provide one, you send it to him is $800.
I was gonna guess 600.
I was going to say 750.
You guys are right on the money. So if I provide them with a tack, the service, with the cluster, the service is $690. And if
Plus
he-
a little shipping here and there. Bingo,
and then
bango.
if he does it, if he pulls one that he already has in house, it's going to be like $820. And
Well, I
these
feel like
clusters-
for the difference of $130, I'd
Definitely
just
just
be
take
like,
the one
dude,
that's done.
give me the one you got. Yeah,
So-
for sure. Rather than trying to find some shit.
these clusters all over eBay, $200 all day long. $200 all day long.
But then you got to get it shipped here.
Got to get it
Got to
shipped.
ship it to
here.
him.
I have taken these clusters apart. It's very easy. And the tack itself is one thing that he makes, right? So it's basically like, it's the face, right? So it's like a laser cut aluminum fucking thing with like the right font and all that. And there's another dude on eBay that's selling that exact part already made for
Just
$50.
Just the face.
Just the face for $50. So I'm like, I need to get a later one anyways. $50 face.
All right. Well.
Oh, you're going to DIY this thing?
Yeah,
And
why, baby?
this is the type of shit that I like to do, right? Like it's like taking the little thing
Sure.
apart. It's like I go
Yeah.
in the garage, throw on my headphones, and I just dick around on my bench and have something that probably has dead SI batteries, and I have to get them replaced anyways, and like all that kind of shit. But
I
it's
like
just,
it though. That's good.
I was,
Those-
yeah,
A couple bucks.
Those
it's expensive.
batteries on the board, I wonder what. You could probably source those from Mouse or
They're $30.
DigiKey or something too, yeah.
Yeah, they're $30, and that's something that I have also done in the past. They're pretty straightforward, very common, and outside of that, it's the gears, and the odometer that go bad. And,
Right.
And
So
that's also serviceable.
Included in the service is he replacing those plastic gears and bushings and all that shit. So he's overhauling the thing.
Yeah, he's overhauling it. Yeah. So if needed though, so like he's looking at it if it looks healthy, like he doesn't do it. He also checks something with the resistance on the temperature gauge. Like apparently they are sticky. I've never had that issue with my E30s, but so if it looks like it's malfunctioning, he'll replace that. So he is refurbishing them as needed, but it's not cheap. I mean, almost $1,000 for this part that is, a quarter of the cost out there, like all in, if you do the work, right? So yourself.
Yeah.
But it
Sounds about right.
But it's also, it's the type of work that I like to do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's the thing is like,
that's something we talked about previously. Like when are you pulling the plug on a car that's the project that's gone too far? It's like very much dependent on what kind of project you like and don't like. What are your tolerance for working on things?
That's definitely, like, for example, my Skyline right now has a front right torn CV boot on the inner boot is torn and all the grease leaked out. And it's, at this point I basically have to replace it. I am like, I kind of want to do it, but at the same time, I'm like, this is such a fucking pain in the ass.
not a
and
fun job.
It's a gross job. And it's like, it's very uncomfortable.
I barely
and, like,
want to do it.
It sucks. It sucks, but it's like, it's something that I can do, but it sucks, and whereas like,
It's not fun work.
being in my garage on the bench, like, disassembling all these little electronics. I like to see how shit's put together. Like I like to clean contacts and like
I
do all that.
totally agree.
And then like the fucking face is 2 little screws. It pops right off. You pop the needle off and then you put the other one on. It's like that type of shit is cool.
Easy
Like,
peasy.
And I'm sure I'll break shit in the process, right? I'll break a tab or the needle snaps.
Be like
but-
Lane, you just like smash your whole dashboard with a screwdriver or something.
Yeah, exactly. But
Pull the wrong board off.
pull the wrong board off. I remember that one. That's pretty gnarly. Like that's it. Kind of that's the really the crux of the whole conversation, right? It's like it's something that I like to do.
Yeah.
And it's also massive savings. It's like, okay, this is
sure.
a win-win.
Yep.
Versus the axle, like that's going to go to a shop. Like I thought about it. I'm like, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I've just remembered how bad and shitty it is. It's like, it's just the worst type of
Not
stuff.
a gratifying.
Especially if you don't have a lift. Like if I brought it here, it helps a lot. But on the floor in the garage, it's like the worst.
Do you want to bring it here and replace it? I'll
One
drink a
thing
beer
goes
while you do
wrong
it.
And the car's stuck and
Yeah, $550 for a new OEM axle.
Really?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
that's
GTR tax.
Sounds about right.
I mean, yeah. So
up
you
for a
didn't
good-
catch the boot early, so now your grease
No,
is gone.
I didn't even know. Like it basically. So the story is, and it's I've been driving it a lot like that. I mean, a lot back and forth here, like maybe 5 times. But I was on the rally, so I got the car. Remember, I got the car, and I received the car 2 days before the rally, and I basically just put air in the tires, and I went straight on the rally. Like that's all. And so it happened at some point on the rally because. I didn't smell
had
anything. I
photos
didn't see,
too
yeah, I had
before.
photos. Yeah, I had full undercarriage photos, very detailed photos. And it happened on the rally. And during the rally, like halfway through, I remember smelling gear oil. And I was like, shit. And I looked underneath the car and I couldn't see anything. And it was shifting fine and everything. And then when I got home, I smelled it in the garage. It was really strong. And so I went and looked and I saw that the inner boot had basically fucking exploded and there was grease everywhere. So at this point, you know, in theory, I could just repack it and all that, but like I've driven it a lot pretty hard, like halfway through the rally and then like just back and forth here, like, you know, just commute, like going, you know, to Cars and Coffee and shit.
Yeah, the annoying thing is like you repack it, you put a boot on, and then it starts making noise like
And it's the same amount of
1,000
work.
miles later, and you
It's-
do all the work over
it's
again.
the same exact work. It's the same amount of work.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it.
Invest in a good axle. with
Yeah.
a good
Luckily, it's
joint.
all, there are no aftermarkets. It's all Nissan OEM. That's all you can buy. So,
There you go.
and there's a couple people stateside that have them.
Nice.
I would imagine there's some big, crazy, overbuilt ones available for people who turn the boost
A
up.
lot,
right?
a lot. There's a
Okay.
ton of those. Yeah. So that's true. So I in terms of like replacement, right? There's no like Febby or
Right,
fucking
right.
whatever, you know, it's like all OEM or like crazy, super heavy duty ones.
Yeah.
They're all rated.
Febby's good.
Febby makes good stuff. Febby,
I know,
Febby,
it's still-
Febby Bilstein is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
I just, there's
Maybe not URO.
Euro with
Yeah.
an umlaut.
No,
Yeah.
don't.
Don't mess with that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I did have to ask Nick real quick. You said you had a very weird day. Anything interesting to share here?
Oh, not weird so much as just like a little hectic in the evening, and then I ended up like scarfing pizza at 8 p.m. So a friend came by and helped with some electrical stuff here, and we happened to be here kind of late, and you guys were like, oh, can you do the podcasts? Which I said yes to. And so I went home thinking that I would get dinner, but really all I did was like put kids to bed and then come back.
oh, I see.
Weird
And so
day.
it was
weird.
it was
Weird.
a it was a
Out of-
weird
out of-
evening.
Out of schedule.
It was the schedule was abnormal.
Oh, okay. Abnormal schedule.
Other than that, the day was actually quite
Art, do you know anything
mundane.
about abnormal schedules?
Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah,
Okay. I think it's trivia time.
I think so.
Art, could you do the honors? It's been a while.
Oh wow, it's been a while. Let's see. Ba-da-ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-doo.
There it is, folks. Trivia time. All right, one question here. Make it easy on you. As we know, maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys don't know, but Ali has the opportunity to purchase a new Hummer.
What the heck? I didn't know about that.
Yeah. He was offered I think you were out on podcast, but he was offered someone's allotment place to buy a new Hummer EV. So that's 9,000 pounds, 1,000 horsepower, the most ridiculous.
And it
car.
crab walks.
And it crab walks. Probably the most ridiculous car on sale today, which is wild that they're even out there, but they are. Anyways, one has been totaled already.
Oh, I saw the picture.
How many miles did the car have on it before this YouTuber accidentally bent the frame? How many miles?
Doing off-roady things.
Not really, just kind of blowing it.
Yeah, because I saw a picture and I didn't click, but I saw the rear tire wheel was totally fucked. It was like perpendicular to the car.
Yeah, and I think that picture you saw was another one that's on Copart already.
The white one?
Yeah,
That's the one that I saw.
They're like all white.
The Copart
I've
one is
seen
the one
only
that I
white.
saw.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's the same. The photo you saw, I'm not sure that's the same car, but
And was
basically
the-
that's how
was-
they can.
Was the photo giving you any hints to like how far from the dealership it was?
I mean,
Was
it
it
looked
in the
pretty,
front of the
it-
dealership?
It was not. It was at Copart for sure.
Okay,
it was at
okay.
Copart.
No,
yeah.
no. How many miles?
235.
I'm gonna go with 33, Bob.
$33,235 for Nick.
I was gonna say 7 just to be.
Clark wins.
Wow.
9 is
Nine.
the winner.
Yes.
Jesus.
First drive around the block, basically, and they hit like a big divot. The thing caught air, landed 9,000 pounds, completely fucked.
Wait a second. So they were on the street.
Well, I can read you exactly what happened. I didn't watch the video.
Okay.
Fucking hell, dude.
But
That's
It could have been delivered right like, to
baffled.
his house, and then he immediately went on.
9,000 pounds.
yeah, but what kind of catching air off a divot is gonna occur?
1,000 horsepower, lots of
says,
torque, railroad tracks or something.
Yeah, maybe.
He drives his
Although
truck onto an unpaved area at speed where his
Oh,
cameraman
yeah.
calls out a large dip in the road. He misses it and sends his Hummer sailing into it hard enough for the impact to cripple the vehicle.
Unpaved area is always a bit of a risk
Yeah,
with
yeah,
YouTubers.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Jeez.
I guess it's
Extremely
not. I
off-road
guess it's
capable?
not built for that.
No.
That's a bit disappointing.
Hummer.
Hummer, by the way.
I recall when the most recent like Lightning, they rebooted the Lightning and so the modern iteration. People were bending frames a lot, but I think they were doing it.
Oh wait, you're talking about the Raptor.
Raptor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Raptor,
I'm sorry. The
yeah.
Raptor. Yeah. The people. I think they were
They
doing
were
it.
launching it off of like
It was
50
pretty
foot
aggressive
jumps.
jumps.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
Highway speed off
This was not that.
Yeah.
I
By
don't-
the
I don't
sounds.
believe- It was probably something where the thing launched and caught air, but think of that for a second. Like, it's a car the size of this truck that weighs 9,000 pounds.
But think of the
Yeah.
0 to 60 speed, so it might have been going highway speed.
yeah,
when it
could
hit
have
this
launched. I'm
thing.
sure it was
Could
launching
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
yeah.
they were ripping around in the first
Yeah.
drive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Nevertheless, I would expect it to be able to withstand some amount of abuse.
You would hope
Absolutely.
so.
It's a Hummer,
Jumping
right?
Is like the high speed, like hitting the ditch is one of the more
It's challenging.
damage causing
It's
things
challenging.
that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Who knows?
But
how fast
9,000
they were
pounds.
going.
Let's just
Yumping.
keep that, and
Yeah.
that's without people in it and stuff, and
All your GoPros strapped to it.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
at least
easily
5
at
pounds worth.
12,000 pounds
Yeah.
now with
Yeah,
GoPros.
That's wild. By the way, Ford Lightnings are awesome. The new ones.
So-
Have you driven one?
Oh no, I have not.
They're real. They're actually like very nice driving, and they're extremely fast.
When
Like,
did you
they're-
drive it?
So at Motorlux, after I think you had left, we were like closing down. We had one on site, and I got to drive it around the airport. And I got on it. I went off road a little bit because I needed to cross this.
Hit
like,
some
one
jumps.
section.
Bet the frame.
No jumps, no frame, but it was
GoPros.
just like literally driving onto a curb and over dirt and grass and
Yeah.
like off another section, which is any truck can do that. But it handled well. The interior is very nice. It's very comfortable. The technology is great. Yeah, some of the stuff is chintzy feeling. It's a Ford, whatever. But
you-
like, it's impressive though. It's actually a really nice truck.
Yeah.
Did you plug in your contractor table saw?
I did not.
Rip down some material.
No, actually, I charged the Hummer.
That would be nice to do that.
By the way, I was thinking about the name too. Like, can you imagine like Hummer? Like, like now introducing a car named that. It doesn't sound very
Nah,
good.
it's not great.
It's not.
So
great.
is Ali going to buy this thing
He
hope
said he was
so.
going to buy it, drive it around for a month, and
and then sell it for 30 grand over or something? Yeah.
And
I don't
Ali's he's not very aggressive with his car, so he's not going to be doing 9,000.
Yeah, I
jumps.
don't think he'll do any
pretty
big yumps.
I think it's pretty tempting to rip that thing around.
Well,
I
rip
mean,
that thing around like it's like stomp on the throttle.
Yeah,
and
I think it's kind
go
of like
for it.
like the G-Wagon,
I imagine he'll keep it on road on the peninsula.
I
It'll-
believe
it won't
so.
be-
Yeah, I
won't be
believe
that
so,
gnarly.
yeah. And it's just an insane thing. I think
I
0
mean-
to 60 in 3 seconds or something.
So here's the thing.
That's a lot of mass to
9,000
accelerate.
pounds.
There's a bit of I mean, it's kind of a paradox, right? But maybe not. So I'm guessing that the content is amazing, right? Like the video of this thing is probably, millions and millions of views worth, but is that too incriminating from like a insurance standpoint? Like, would they basically?
I don't know.
Like,
Like, is
would that
this,
negate though?
Is that something that the car is not expected to be able to do?
Yeah, I don't know how that
know.
works
Like-
because I want to see.
That's a
the
little
video.
weird, yeah.
I want
That's
to
like
see
the
video.
Raptor, they make it like, Fox shocks and off-road this and off-road that. And then like if someone breaks the car or wasn't the new GT86,
Oh yeah, Toyota
the
was
track
like
situation.
denying
Track stuff, you're
denying
like-
claims. Yeah.
you literally have pictures of the car on track in your advertising. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some, I don't know where that got settled,
I think
but there's
that
people.
was the GT86 like a oil cavitation issue. People having problems with the motors or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if Ali buys this, we can look at the fine print and see exactly
know.
what it says.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I hope he buys it.
No,
I think
right.
he should because the resale market's been super strong for all of those cars, the Rivians and
Totally.
the
Rivians
and
is
all that
insane.
stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah. The GTA, I think an issue was with the way that they
Sealed the pan.
sealed
or
the
something.
pan.
Yeah,
it's
it was
not it's not a gasket. It's RTV bullshit,
Yeah,
right?
too
And
much
so
sealant
the way
getting
that
into
they
the
did
oil
it,
pickup or whatever.
and
yeah.
so it would clog the oil pickup, and then they ended up with an oil starvation problem. Like it's like the most basic.
yeah, figure out your life. Figure out your life, dude. I had an update from Toyota of Sunnyvale. I'm on the waiting list for a Venza.
Ooh.
And I just checked in. You know, we're at the 4-month mark.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be 4 to 6 months. So I'm like, I'll just check in. And he's like, yeah, we're still looking at 3 to 4 more months. So now that's
Nice,
a
dude.
7 to 8 month.
7, 8
Damn,
months,
dude.
and that's whatever they get. You
Whatever
have-
they get.
You have no
Whatever.
idea.
Well, we have a red Highlander.
Any
I'm like,
Venzas.
well, it's neither the car nor the color. I was interested in, but I appreciate
But
the
it is compelling now that you're telling me it's
offer.
an extra 3
Yeah,
months.
Shoot, now I'm really interested.
Yeah. What are your color?
we have
I
a-
said any color, but I only
what?
Did, but I only did that to get the option.
We have an amazing red
is not on
79
the-
Chrysler.
Red's not on the list. Yeah.
It's just come in.
So, anyways, that's where things are at. Went 4 to 6 months for a brand new car. You cannot get one. To now we're at 6 to.
how's
8
the how's
months.
the replacement, the substitute vehicle,
Totally fine.
the pinch hitter?
100%.
Does
Yeah.
the job? Yeah.
Yeah, it's an appliance of all appliances.
And do you know how many people are ahead of you for the Venza?
I want to find out. I'd like to start knocking them off, taking them out.
See if you can get the list.
Bring over some pastries and be like, I'd like to take your spot on the list.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I just told him I was like being very bro with him, and I'm like, let me know if anything changes. You know, holler at your boy. You know, that kind of thing.
that
Younger
work?
guy.
You need to go in there and meet him in person, dude.
I have. That's how I got on the list.
What is he into, man? You know, get him a little Amaro or a little
That's a good call. Yeah, bring him a little
Bring him
holiday,
some
like a fruitcake, perhaps.
Humble C.
Yeah.
Some humble sea.
Yeah, I hear you make a kick-ass. What was it? A strawberry shortcake or something? Or
Dude,
what was it?
insane strawberry shortcake. All right, that's a podcast. That's it. We're out.
It's
See you
over.
next time. Goodbye.
Later.
Goodbye.